Hi guys, welcome to another Pop Culture Gamers show. We're here as a threesome again. So it's hi to Hayden.
Hi there.
And hi to Alan.
Hello, konnichiwa.
Anyway guys, so what have you been up to? Who's going to start?
You go first, Alan.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So, thanks again for having me back for a second week. So, I hope all the first week went well enough. I got the invite back.
The feedback's been very positive from people, so you did a good job.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, as we move forward, I'll improve this week now. More clear on my notes and stuff. My week has been pretty... Not as gaming goes, it hasn't been massive. I've played one game, maybe two. Work has just been really busy this week, so it's taken a lot of time. Training, as per usual, takes up a lot of time. I've nearly hit the 100 miles this week, running, and about 24,000 feet of vertical gain. So it was a good week of training on top of everything. I watched a good few TV shows, a good few movies. So as I was saying to you on chatting to you, it's kind of hard. It's kind of difficult to pick two or three to talk about on the podcasts that are a bit interesting, because sometimes you kind of watch 4 or 5 movies in the week. So I do on the treadmill or on the bike or in the gym. Probably the biggest thing for me this week really was Picard, the first episode. I know all three of us were pretty excited about it, and we've had a good old chat about it as well privately, which has been great. We'll probably go into more of that later on, and then again maybe at another date. My audiobook this week for my running has been the Star Wars The Aftermath trilogy. This has been out now a while, but I haven't. I think 2017 it came out. It's a 3-book trilogy that takes you from the end of Return of the Jedi straight through really to the start of The Force Awakens, and kind of ties up a lot of, like, after the second Death Star is destroyed, the Emperor is killed, Darth Vader dying, and then but it doesn't really follow the story of Skywalker, Princess Leia, or even Han Solo. It kind of follows the rebel pilot Nora Wexley, and the story, and then kind of brings a few other characters into it. The first one was okay. The first book I listened to was okay. The second one, I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to finishing it off. So I'll probably finish it the next day or two. So the Star Wars Aftermath, it kind of ties nicely to The Force Awakens. It's definitely worth a listen. As you know, I got home quickly today after work. A busy day at work today for lunch, and I was lucky enough to get out and get home for the podcast. And that's pretty much my week. Nothing too I also picked up 3 months of Xbox Ultimate. When you get 3 months free, Microsoft are running a deal at the moment until February the 15th, if anyone's interested. If for 3 months bought, you get 3 months free, plus you get an extra month free as well for activating the monthly charge, which you can turn off straight away after. So you get 7 months really for the price of 3, which is a good deal for the current. For that Game Pass.
Definitely worth a shot. I think mine ends in November, so I might have to
I picked up
that.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up another one again now tomorrow or the day after, I think. And that's not bad. Like, if you think about it, if you break down the price per month, it's not that expensive. For the games you get, again, this week, you'll see the games that came out on Xbox where, some good ones came out again on that Game Pass. So, and that's it. What about yourself now, boys? Well, how was your week?
Hayden?
My week, quiet sort of week. Like yourself, Alan, I've been in a bit of a gaming funk, actually. I've just not really found that much to sort of play. Tried, doing 1 or 2 things, but never really hit it off. I did complete a game, like I was.
Oh yeah, a game for game completion apart from 5.
It was Without Escape.
Okay.
So that started off on the PC, and I played the console edition of it. But yeah, it was all right. Not one I really cherished the idea of reviewing, to be honest.
But do you mind me cutting there, Steve? Or Hayden, your gaming funk now, is that down to the fact that you really do play a lot of games? Like, if you're a gamer scorer and you're passionate about it, do you think you've done so much lately that that's your reason, or it's just there's nothing out?
difficult to say.
Yeah.
I think at the moment I'm just feeling more of the desire to watch stuff rather than to play stuff. So I've really got into movies and TV shows this week. So I'm going to talk about Altered Carbon later on.
Yeah, good show.
I've watched Ad Astra.
Oh yes, I've seen
with
it. Yeah.
Brad Pitt. I'm not going to talk about that this week, but I've watched that. And I've also been going through the Jason Bourne movies as well.
Oh.
So I've done 4 out of the 5 of them after never really getting on with them because, to be honest, I've always thought that the cameraman looked like he was freezing cold because the camera shakes
so
all
much,
over the place. And when I used to watch it did my head in. But I thought, I think Bourne, it would be something that I would quite enjoy if I could just get past the camera work. And I've got past it finally.
So on that,
but
then
it's taken me years to do
I
it.
never noticed it, to be honest. When I watched, I think there's about four movies. Was there in the end?
yes,
4, oh, yeah,
5.
and
Because there's also there's the one that doesn't have. Well, it's set around Jason Bourne, but it's I forgot what it is. It's the Bourne Legacy. That's it.
Right.
Where it's Hawkeye.
yes, that's the kind of the same time. And on that as well. Now I just finished Treadstone, the TV series, the spin-off TV show. That just finished, and I will probably talk about that next week, all going well. So
that was the reason why I was actually
you'll
watching
thoroughly
Bourne,
enjoy
so
that. The camera work and that actually goes right back to like 40 years ago to the Cold War when they kind of started, how they first started all that training and chemicals and building the perfect soldier. So you'll definitely enjoy that. It's well worth the watch. So I'll talk about that next week, hopefully.
Yeah. So, other than that, I got a couple of record cubes to have my storage, so I can actually have in like a sort of like a wooden box. Well, it's not a wooden box; it's like a shelving unit, but so that I can have my records out rather than being in a cupboard somewhere,
really?
Which is what they have been.
It's like the IKEA boxes sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. So I got a couple of those, and obviously watched Picard as well. I was up at midnight hoping that it was going to launch, and it did. It dropped, so I sat and watched that.
Excellent.
On there. And I know, Steve, because you're doing nights, it's more difficult for you and you can't make it, but we've been talking about doing a special on Picard because it is the first week, so we want to get it out there.
Well, I'll have to just,
so that we can go through a lot.
Yeah, I'll have to just pass on that then, because I feel like if it was going to be during the daytime, I'm going to be sleeping. If it was normal time, it'd be evening. But if you can't sort of wait a week, then I'll have to pass.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that we'll probably do one after the next one as well.
Yeah,
but I think it's.
I wouldn't mind that if we kind of every week. I think it's an interesting. I think there's so much theories and debates and Easter eggs. There's so much information just in the first episode. I think there's a few chats every week, to be honest with you. Even from the chats we've had on Messenger or between us, even those chats have been great. So I think there's a future chats yet, a podcast yet, and I'd say, hopefully.
Well, I mean, you've seen all of the notes that I've done on it.
Yeah, yes, I have.
Alan, haven't you? And it's like I've picked out so many things from so many different episodes.
Yeah.
That were in there, right down to like the fedora that was very cleverly placed in the mirror when Picard was getting ready for his interview and stuff like that. There was so much in there and so many different things linking in, and like the Daystrom Institute, it links to every element of Star Trek.
And the two people that are, I don't know if they work for him or they're his friends. They go to they're in the comics that I read, Picard, how he saved them and stuff. So there's some great canon there, to be honest with you, so far.
Yeah,
very subtle, though, I must admit.
Yes, it is. It's nice. It's not overbearing. I really think it's well done.
Not like Star Trek. Sorry, but Star Wars would do it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, we won't start that conversation against Star Wars.
No, let's not.
I won't be invited back next week.
But yeah, we're gonna. We thought we'd do one this week. 'Cause obviously, it's timely because obviously it's one of those things that's kind of like time sensitive anyway. But next week, if you're up for it, Steve, we'll do another one as well.
And, see when we can do it.
When you're back.
See what date I'm on call.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you want to shove me out the door, but
not
do it
at
just
all.
yet.
We
No,
don't want to
not
shove
at
you out
all.
of the door at all. It's just your timing with your work at the moment. That's all it is.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so I haven't done a lot really, to be honest with you. So again, same as you've been watching Star Trek. Play some Destiny 2, which we'll get into later. I can have a good old whinge. And
yeah, because you and me have had very different experiences on this.
yeah, and I'm not the only one apparently, so it's
No.
it's the luck of the draw probably. Also, I've done a touch of playing with Shadow of the Tomb Raider because I've never completed it and
Great game.
been on that. HMV this week. Happy Death Day 2 and a sequel. Have you seen those?
Yeah,
They're good
I've seen the two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have been Toby Hooper's birthday this week, so I've ironically picked up the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 40th anniversary,
Oh wow, great.
which is outstanding. And some that you may not know, Extro, When a Stranger Calls, and The Changeling, which is a superb ghost story with George C. Scott. So some class movie viewing there. Other than that, Lost came in the post. Not Lost, but Lost the concert soundtrack, which is a 3-album box set, and it is excellent music, I must admit.
Yeah, because you have to admit when you order a record like that and you say it's lost in the post.
Yeah, exactly. I was tempted to see if Yodel could do that. I did intervene them and say, put it in the shed.
Yeah.
So
Rather than behind the bin this time.
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want this getting soaked in, mate. I'd be furious.
Yeah.
But it was like in a thick, massive box. So it was well packed, even though it's a 3-album sort of, it's like an inch thick of the box set with, but some lovely artwork. This was recorded in I think this one was recorded in Dublin.
All right.
Because it's got the orchestral guys are the RTE orchestra.
The RT Orchestra, yeah, they're a great
Yeah.
orchestra, yeah.
So it is a live recording. So you got every now and then you have some clapping in between. You got Michael Giacchino having a chat about the tracks as they go in between them as well. But it's well worth a listen. And I've actually just put the first 3 tracks on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can hear them on there.
Okay.
So I was on there today doing that. Anyway,
Is it all of the music from Lost or just a selection?
it's a selection, but it's going to.
Because there's 6 seasons, so there must be a lot
Yeah, I
of
think
music in it.
obviously what they do is there's a lot of library music when they do shows like that, and but what they do is they reintroduce the same sort of bits of score, don't they, every week, probably without subtly knowing about it. But yeah, no, it's very, very good, better than I expected. And obviously it's all 3 different colour vinyls. There's some great liner notes in there as well. And yeah, very good, very good.
Nice.
Okay.
Is it one that comes with a digital copy of the soundtrack? as
No,
well, or does it-
Mondos never do, to be honest.
No, I think that's a bit of a shame because, obviously you're very limited in listening to your record collection, and not many records do come with a digital copy so that you can, transport it around. But I do like it when they do that.
Saying
I think
that,
that's the best way of doing it.
I've got on my little underneath of the monitors. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 9 digital codes there I've got to redeem, which I haven't bothered to do for a while. But yeah, it's these sort of things don't. But I mean, you can sometimes hunt them out on Amazon as well. Maybe try and have a look on there or Spotify. Yeah. But if not, you can go to YouTube and you can actually watch the concert. So yeah, but, okay. Excellent. So you put some good notes in there. So should we go to gaming this week?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Hayden. So what news have you put in there this week for us? I haven't looked at the notes.
Well, Alan's put it in actually, so I think we'll hand it over to Alan to give us the news.
Roll away.
A few interesting bits of news this week. I think the first one for any Oculus Rift or people who are into the VR, the Half-Life Alyx, which is hopefully coming out in March. Valve usually stick to their dates, but as part of the new game coming out, they're actually giving all the Half-Life series free for Steam users until the day of release on launch, which I think is a good deal. That Half-Life 2 even though I mean it's a very old game, it still holds up. It's fantastic, you know.
You can get mods that bring it up to date.
Yeah,
though.
that's correct. Yes. So like I played it years and years ago. I have no intention of picking it up again. But it's just it's a nice little offer. I'm sure lots of people have it already. The orange box on the Xbox when that came out. So even now people still pick that up. I think it's such a good deal. Another interesting one I think that Hayden really liked was that the Ninja Theory team have released the first episode, which is apparently is going to be an ongoing series called the Dreadnought Diaries. Talking about development of Hellblade 2, and also they teased a very interesting one, Project pronounce it's not Mara, I think so they pronounce it. They showed us a slight clip. It's in the real world, and again, from Ninja Theory, it's dealing with a lot of mental issues, stuff that's going on, you know, people's minds and stuff. Just for that couple of seconds clip they showed, it actually looked very intense and very interesting. So it'll be interesting. It's nice to have a developer doing those kind of weekly or monthly videos that they're going to be doing, and keep you up to like a direct, like a state of play or something like that. It's interesting, and if more developers did that, it would be good as well, you know. The other thing is that unfortunately another delayed game again is
yes, I saw that this week myself. Pretty gutted about that one.
I'm actually gutted myself, Steve, about this one, because I love the first one, even though it was pretty brutal in parts, especially the nighttime sections. Dying Light 2 has a delayed actually for no date given, which I personally think means they're going to jump onto the new consoles, or else there's a lot more going on there we don't know about. But that's like, not to give another date is interesting, I think. It's a shame, really. We'll have to go back and play the first one again, which still holds up to this day.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, I did complete the game, but I didn't finish the DLC, to be honest.
Because one of my favourite games years ago, thinking about it, was Dead Island. I 100% to that game, top to bottom. It was a great game, and Dying Light in was very similar to that, only with zombies and. But it did look graphically stunning. Even now, it looks very good. They updated the 4K enhanced graphics, and it does look good. It's just a shame we have to wait now. But again, when it comes out, if it's better for the gamers if they're spending more time in it, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, they're pretty long games.
Yes,
Dying Light game. Oh,
massive.
Just like I didn't know when it was going to end. To be honest, it seemed like forever.
I mean, from the trailers, the gameplay they've showed of it, they've really seemed to have improved the running and the parkour in it, and the kind of like the control of it. It could be a bit clumsy sometimes in the first game. You could fall and break a leg, which was part of the game and stuff, I know, but it just looked a lot more smooth, the new gameplay of it. And finally, kind of news for me, my own side, like can't wait for Doom. That a massive 3-hour hands-on was done by a lot of the big podcasters, a lot of the big people, the guys, the influencers out there, and the feedback on it has been actually really, really good. So like 3 hours of the first 3 hours of a game to let people play it is great. So Doom Eternal is definitely I can't wait for it this year. For that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's for me this year. I mean, I played it back in the day. I think you have to be on speed to play it, don't you, really?
Yes, that's what. But it's interesting from a couple of the other podcasts and other people who are YouTubers who've played it. They've actually said they've taken the speed, but I won't say slowed it down, but they've made it more tactical, so that you go into. They've opened up the levels or the world more, so you go in, and instead of kind of just like run and gun, you kind of have. There's bigger bosses that are. There's certain ways you can take them down, so it's a lot more tactical with the run and gun, if that makes sense, from what I've been hearing. So I still think, I mean, visually, it'll be stunning as well. So I love this type of game, so I'm really looking forward to it. And there's not much else at the moment around that time coming out, so we'll see. Hopefully it won't get delayed anymore.
Yeah.
That just reminds me, because something else I've been playing, I started playing Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation.
Oh, brilliant.
And I will mention that because I have played it and completed it on one character on the Xbox, but there's a reason why I went to PlayStation. But yeah, well, that's something else I've got to talk about. But yeah.
So you've double dipped?
I have, yes.
Double dipped.
Do you know, I remember somebody from the Southampton area who used to give me grief for double dipping.
Yeah, he was in another show, wasn't he?
He was, and then he came onto this show.
Did he? Oh, yeah, didn't know that is.
Yeah.
And I think that's most. I've just seen there now as well today. I kind of came up on my Twitter feed that Rocksteady have released a free. If anyone's still playing the Batman Arkham Knight game on the PlayStation, they've released the Earth 2 free Batman skin, which is actually. It's a very dark costume with a huge red bat in the front of it. It's a very cool looking costume or skin. So like a nice 5 years later, a little something free for any Batman like Arkham fans out there. Originally you could only guess it when it was at E3 when the game was first announced. It was a kind of a private code given to players, that were at the official opening. So now, and it's appeared now again on for free now.
I think I've got. Is it 3 of them they've got now? 3 Batman games.
Yes,
there was 3 by them, but there was also Warner Brothers who did Batman Origins as well, which bombed.
Yeah, but actually, Batman Origins one is my favourite of the 3, apart from the first one. I finished it even on the Wii U when it came out. That's all because you could on the pad you had like your own utility belt, I suppose, and they had the map and everything on the big Wii U pad, and it was fantastic to play on that game. And I finished it. I finished it actually twice. I think 3 times I finished it on 3 different consoles. The Origin one. It's a great game, but it didn't do well. So
no, I played the Origin one, and while I enjoyed it, it was the only one out of all of those sort of 4 Batman games that I never actually completed.
Well, hopefully now Rocksteady will release, or they're kind of teasing us a lot lately now with the old Batman, for the new one. So hopefully they'll say something soon.
Do you know? I would actually I'd like to see again is another fighting game on the Injustice series.
Yeah, I'm not a big massive fight that style of game now,
because
so I didn't play it.
That's a DC Universe story,
yeah.
And you got Batman, Harley Quinn, and the Joker, and all that, all fine. But it's just great fun. I love that. Brilliant.
I think the problem is though it's a fighting
game. Yeah. For me, it's
yeah.
Like I did watch someone put all the cutscenes together on YouTube like a movie.
Right.
That actually was very good to watch. It's actually a very good movie when it was spliced together. So if anyone wants to stay away from the fighting, they can watch the YouTube movie online.
Yeah, I know. I just that series actually just sort of came to me. I just loved it, and there's Mortal Kombat as well. I've played as well, but it's
well, this Mortal Kombat was in a lot of people's top 10 as well, wasn't it? It was Mortal Kombat 11, I think it was. I didn't play it now myself, but the feedback and the reviews of it were very positive. So.
Don't you think that combat games, like Mortal Kombat, like the Injustice, though, they are more games of the past rather than nowadays? It's not a genre that is sort of invested a lot in by many manufacturers nowadays.
You don't see too many Street Fighter games. They keep re-releasing the old ones, don't they?
Yes, with an extra long name or a turbo exciting.
But I think
something.
What is different,
turbo nitro injection.
But as you pointed out, Alan, that like Injustice, for example, they have a story tagged on it that's more interesting because it's got the characters from that universe, and it seems to work well with that. I think it's.
But then again, so does Dead and Alive as well, although it's an unintelligible story. It does have a story in it.
Yeah, it has a very bouncing story, I must admit.
I wasn't making any reference to any assets that are in the game. I was actually referring to the actual story. Again, there is a story for each character.
Then again, I do love Harley Quinn in that, and actually Wonder Woman as well, when you've got some vermouth off to a tee. And some of the actual, because it's more like an RPG now, those games, because it's not just fight. You actually earn credits, unlock different types of clothing that have got attributes with them as well. So it is moved on since just a plain fighting game that you would have seen in an arcade somewhere with 2 sets of joysticks where you're going hammer and tongs.
It just seems like a very niche. I suppose that's the wrong thing to say, but a very niche kind of game. Like, it's okay if you've got a couple of friends around the house. You have, like, we used to play Mortal Kombat on the Sega before I got married with kids and stuff, and I think then it was more fun playing online, I tried once or twice a couple of games, but
Oh,
I
you're
always
going to
got
get
my
your
ass
ass kicked,
like,
aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing about the online is you can join like a group of people.
Yeah.
And you can all earn rewards from what you're playing in the game.
Oh, okay.
And then you would use that to unlock. It's very much like a loot box, but you don't pay for it. And when you spin the coins, that you will unlock different weapons or different pieces of clothing for different characters that you've got unlocked in the game. And obviously, they do have like the exotic idea that Destiny has with the gold outfits compared to some of the other ones which might be blue and green in the same sort of makeup of a game. Mm. And then you can go online and you can go into the multiverse and do challenges there to earn more coins to unlock more sort of clothes and stuff. So apparel, we're going to call it. But yeah, it's I think one of them's on Game Pass.
Yeah, Injustice on Game Pass. I'm sure Mortal Kombat 11 will eventually come on there. They all kind of tend to come on Game Pass or PS Plus or something eventually, you know.
Yeah, I own Mortal Kombat 10, which is one before that.
Well, apparently 11 rewrites not that I'm massive into the canon or the story of it, but number 11 apparently rewrites the whole lot again and kind of sets it back to zero for the next one.
But yeah,
the story apparently.
Forget the Mortal Kombat characters there. I love playing with the Alien character and Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th and stuff like that. There's a lot of enjoyment in using a big machete, I can tell you that now.
And I think they've just added the Joker as well. They apparently use a big add-on. I actually saw some gameplay of his moves. It looks, I mean, the way they make those, it's just crazy, some of the stuff they come up with.
Oh, God, yeah. Anyway, should we move on? So, as Alan's printed these in the minutest font I can imagine, does Hayden want to read these?
That's not Alan,
no,
that was me.
I won't get blamed for this one, thank you.
Because I cannot read that from my screen, so I will do subscription games this week, if you'd like to do that.
Alright, so new releases for this week then. We've got Journey to the Savage Planet on PS4, Xbox and PC. Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire on PS4 and Xbox One. Kentucky Route Zero Act 5 on the PC. I have no idea. Kentucky Route Zero TV edition for the PS4, Xbox One and Switch. Warcraft 3 Reforged on the PC. Sisters Royale PS4 and Switch. Not for Broadcast on the PC. Through the Dark Times on the PC. Bookbound Brigade on the PC, PS4 and Switch. And Ark of the Alchemist on the PS4.
Anything float your boat there, guys, for that? As it is, there's a lot of PC stuff there.
Journey to the Savage Planet.
Journey to the Savage Planet, definitely. I've seen some gameplay of it and it does look interesting.
I think I did see an advertisement on the front page for Xbox.
Yeah, it's been on there.
For that. But there's a lot of PCs. There's a lot of, I mean, it's very quiet anyway, and there's a lot of PC stuff
there's
there.
a real... I think compared to most, maybe the last 3 years, we'll say, where a lot of developers kind of came out January, February, March, you had a lot of people trying games, releasing games. This year it doesn't... I think maybe the new console has affected this now as well, but there's not that big game in really coming out in January or February to take you and catch your eye. I think there is none, you know.
No, we're still going to have to wait for April, aren't we?
It looks like it's kind of March is when Resident Evil comes out is the kind of the first start of it, really.
Yeah, is it tail end of March, I think?
Yeah, I think it's around the middle of March. That's when it kind of does one or two games. But then we had the games that cancelled in March, so you have what's that Final Fantasy game in April? That's
that's
I won't be
isn't
getting. So, I think it'll be maybe April, May, March, May, June before I get anything interesting. I think.
Okay, so Games for Gold, we got that. So we have the Plague Tale of Innocence.
Well, it's Games Pass.
Games Pass. There's a few games that have just.
Sorry, I do apologise. See, stop reading it right. Okay, so Xbox Game Pass, we have A Plague Tale of Innocence, January 23rd. We've got Invisible, the same on the 23rd. Sea Salt, which is the 30th, but I like that with chips. And then we got Fishing SimWorld Pro Tour, ironically, on January the 30th. So, yeah, interesting then.
Well, for me now, A Plague's Tale Innocent is the one I'm probably start tonight or tomorrow. I was going.
It's excellent.
Yeah, it's
excellent. I've got it.
I actually went to pick it up. Now, I know it's out on PC, but I think I might jump on the Xbox and get some of those Hayden achievements.
Yeah, actually, funny. I've not earned an achievement. I can't think of the last time I actually earned one, but actually playing last night on the Xbox in a completely different game. Yeah, I found it amusing. What's that? What's that popped up? That blue pop-up thing? You know, what's that?
So no Plague Tale in this.
And when you get the rare one with a different pin as well.
I like the rare ones.
Oh, the diamond one, yeah.
I got a lot of rare ones now when I finished the Call of Duty, the newest one, Modern Warfare. There was a lot of rare ones popped on that. It just goes to show people were playing multiplayer more than single player, you know.
Yeah.
I got like 6 or 7 in a row within 3 or 4, but about 3 hours. But no, Plague's Tale, I went to pick this up so many times because this really seems to be like a movie, a cult movie that it didn't sell huge, but everybody talks about it. It's a must try. That it looks stunning. Even in our face group, people put up pictures of it, and there's like they say it's one of the best looking games they've ever seen on the console. So yeah, I definitely think I'm going to give this a go tonight or tomorrow.
Cool. Okay, yeah. Last thing we have there, obviously, we got the epic game, which is Farming Simulator 19. I've never actually played any Farming Simulator game yet. Not sure if I want to run around just chopping corn.
Well, considering that you like Train Simulator, it's probably right up your street, Steve.
Yeah, but Train Simulator, I actually know the line. I sound really geeky, doesn't it? I actually know the line very well from Reading to Paddington. You know, that's awful, isn't it? Okay, anything else to say on those guys?
No, not really.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
Okay, Hayden, our gaming this week is we're going to move on to what you've been playing.
Well, I'm going to talk about Terminator Resistance. So this is coming out. Well, it's out on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. It's a first-person shooter action sort of video game developed by Tayan and published by Reef Entertainment. I think these are the people who were responsible for the pretty bad Rambo game before.
Oh, that's terrible.
The game. Yeah, I've not actually even played it. You know, it looked that bad. The game looks and feels very much like the kind of Skynet dystopian kind of future that you see in the movies. It's very faithful to that sort of imagery. A lot of the game is you running around doing tasks for NPCs, which the game wants you to really care about. But personally, I didn't really find much being bothered about some of the characters that are in there. There are some kind of like a little bit weird choices in there as well. I'm not going to go into what they are. I'm going to let you enjoy it if you actually decide to play it. Part of, I think, the game's charm is it's a very basic sort of shooter. To me, this is something that would have equally well have fit on the 360 sort of generation rather than the current gen, because it's just not it's not a modern shooter. I think it tries to be, but I don't think it succeeds very well. Model-wise, it looks good, and it's, like I said before, it's very in keeping with the whole Skynet dystopia, but to me, it's just not current-gen enough. So, in terms of the areas that you are in, are not exactly open world, but not exactly closed. You can go anywhere in them. You know, it's not linear in that sort of respect, but it's quite limited. And in order to progress through to a different level, you've got to go through quite a linear kind of story with the game. So, but, you know, obviously you can do these sort of like dialogues, and when you go up to a character and start talking to them, what I was immediately struck with was this just makes the game feel like Fallout 4.
Okay.
In terms of the way it's kind of like delivered, because, you know, you see the character stood there, you get the options boxes underneath, and that kind of like made me feel like this was an old style shooter, sort of Fallout 3, Fallout 4-ish sort of thing. Or, you know, even like the way that characters are presented to you in like Skyrim and stuff like that, you know, and the options that you get in there.
Right.
Personally, I think that this is one for the fans. very much so.
And
if
where does it take part in the story, in the timeline, or would you know? Is there a timeline?
Well, there is, but it's sort of like it's in the future. Skynet's taken over the world. You know, you're part of the resistance
you're just kind of
against
battling
Skynet.
it doesn't kind of like go into John Connor timeline or canon or that kind of stuff, anything like that. No, does it?
It's set in the future.
Okay.
You know, when you start, you're in this sort of like rundown area. I think if you remember rightly, because it's I wasn't that invested in the story of it either. You know, it just didn't really gel that much for me. Even though I love Terminator, there was just something about it. It just didn't quite. You know, but this was a game I really, really wanted to play. I was quite excited by it. People were saying how brilliant it is, and I'm not really sure what it is that they've seen in this game that I've obviously missed. But for me, it was just, not really that bothered about it.
And are you playing it on PC or Xbox, Hayden?
PC.
PC. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course
so no achievements. No, I thought he might go for achievements. It might be easy achievements on it for him, you know?
No, what I decided to go for was a cheaper copy.
A cheaper copy.
Yeah, CD keys.
So, do you think it's like one of those, you know, like where they have the engine for Skyrim or the engine for Fallout? They kind of sell those engines. It feels like someone maybe bought that and modded it, maybe because it kind of came out very fast. It kind of came out of nowhere, really, didn't it? It didn't release with the movie.
No. It was just suddenly one day kind of there.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
What about, it wasn't Gears 5, didn't they have a little add-on for Terminator as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah, for, I think, the multiplayer. They were doing a big conjunction with the movie.
Yeah, Sarah Connor and
Sarah Connor, yeah. I picked them up, I never used them in the game. I don't do much multiplayer, so...
I don't think I even bothered picking them up, to be honest.
I pick most things that are free. I just click OK. And
just build.
That's what I do. Like, you know.
Expand your hard drive.
I normally do, but I think that this has been the first Gears game. Well, actually, no, I didn't complete Judgment.
Oh yeah,
and it's only Gears 5 and Judgment are the only two that I've not completed. All of the other ones I've completed. I think the first couple were actually on the hardcore level as well that I completed them, but in terms of the new Gears, I just there was just something about it. It just didn't gel with me.
Does it feel stale now, though? As much as it looks great, do you think it's now sort of stale? It's not really moved on, is it, in time?
I certainly think when you play on a single player basis, it's not as enjoyable as if you're playing with mates and you're doing you're taking the parts of the different members of the squad and you're playing together, as it were. I think that it has more of an impact playing it like that than playing it on your own.
Yeah.
So, but you don't get that option in Resistance. But if you like the game, if you like Terminator, there's enough here to maybe keep you a bit interested. But I would say that this is one for the pick it up in the bargains rather than buy it full cost.
Is this PC only or was it Xbox, did you say?
Xbox.
No, PC, Xbox and PlayStation.
I think wait for Game Pass.
I was going to say wait for this is one to wait for Game Pass.
That's what I tend to do lately. No, I tend to look at a game and I kind of go, well, 3 months it could be on Game Pass. I'll just hang on. It's strange, like how things have changed.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you because I've sort of like come to the point now where some of the games I've bought are in Game Pass.
Oh no!
But then they go out of Game Pass. So and I've got games that I've bought that have gone into Game Pass, but then have gone out, and it's sort of when they go into Game Pass, do you actually bother buying? Trading, or do you keep it because you might go back to it and. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's an interesting kind of
thought. Does your collection actually hold, should we say, some games that have been in Game Pass now? You think that, I could actually just trade them in and get a few quid for them. It won't be a lot.
Well, I've done that. I've traded in some games.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I traded a few games that came on Game Pass. Once they came on Game Pass, I traded them in and I finished them, and that was it. I don't tend to hold on to games anymore as much as I used to, so I find just having the Game Pass or having even like the PS Plus or like anywhere like Epic Store, even Twitch, like Humble Bungalow, which you're trying to get me into hidden, those kind of stuff. It's just so everything's kind of there now in front on screen, like it seems easier,
Yeah.
So.
Well, this month's Humble Bundle's really good because it's the Shadows of Mordor game, the War in Middle-earth. So it's definitely worth it just for that game alone.
Yeah,
it's the Humble
game.
Bundle this month. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool. Alan?
So,
are you ready? You finished, Hayden? Sorry, I didn't interrupt there.
I was going to say the only other game I've played is Destiny because I've been hammering that.
Well, we can talk about that in a minute. We'll let Alan go first, and then we'll finish on that with me in a minute, and I can drink more wine and just sob in it. But yeah, okay. Anyway, Alan, what have you been up to?
Well, I haven't played much this week, like I said to you. I kind of continued a little bit with the Children of Mortar and Judgment. Those not much more to say about them. Judgment is really getting good now. The story starting to come together now. I kind of have an idea who I think is the serial killer, but I won't give much away. Maybe in spoiler cast in future episode. The one game I played this week, and I finished it really fast. It's only about 2 hours long. I must pronounce this right now. Sayonara Wild Hearts. Now this came out on Apple iOS, I think, as well. At the arcade, it was one of the big ones, but it came out on Switch as well. Now I'm surprised. I don't know if either of you played it, have you? Or would you know anything about it?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Because this is very much a music. This is basically an album that they built a game around. That's the impression I got off it anyway. And you can actually stream the album now as well if you want. It's like a classic arcade running game in the vein of that you've seen. You kind of just swipe left, swipe right, that style. So it really suits the Switch, and it's kind of pick up and play. And you collect coins. It's like the usual collecting coins as you run. But where it's interesting is it adds in, if you've ever played Rez, which is just an amazing music game. Rez kind of style music, everything is done in rhythm as you attack and dodge, and you do it all in rhythm to the album, and every level then is an individual song. And then that builds the story, and you kind of start off on just running, then you end up on a skateboard, you kind of end up on motorcycles, and there's like you're wielding swords and you're collecting coins, but it moves super fast. What I liked about it as well, I quite like stuff. There's not much blood or gore in it, and the enemies just kind of disappear when you kill them. It's kind of a real nice pick up and play game in the vein of that those kind of 5-10 minutes. So it suits me as well for my current lifestyle with work and everything else. So it's basically like a pop album video game. It's kind of hard. It's visually it's very stylish, and if you've played Rez, it's all those kind of neons, and you highlight certain parts. When you highlight 5 things in the screen, they all kind of pop and explode in beat to the song if you hit them right. The story then is about a young girl, and you kind of, as you go through the levels, you find out about her, and it builds, the speed builds as you go through it faster and faster. Very interesting game. Again, like I said, it's very quick game. It's Sayonara Wild Hearts, and again, it was on a lot of people's. I think that's why since it's on the Switch, I thought it was great. The reason I took notice of it is a few of End of Year podcasts or YouTubers all had it in their game of the year, so it was cheap enough to pick up, and really enjoyed it. If you like music rhythm games, running, it's perfect for you, and it's quick to play. So that's it. Nothing else really playing this week because I didn't really get much time. I watch more TV shows and movies, like I said. So that's it.
So we'll finish on Destiny, but so Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So I went back to playing. Okay,
are you okay there?
Yeah.
You coughed a lung up.
Yeah. Sorry, I coughed a lung up. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Anyway, as I was saying, so Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I've gone back to playing that because I never did actually complete it, and I've played all the others to the max. And one thing I noticed, this achievement popped up, and what I did was I could hear these guys a bit further on in the map. So what you can do is you can go to the you can go to the mud on the floor. You can get your hands and cover yourself in mud. Just remember, Predator comes to mind for Arnie. And anyway, so I put it all on. So they sort of noticed me a bit. So I put myself up against this tree, this load of trees, but it was all black, and I just stood still like I was a part of the tree. And the guy came out, and then I just hit Y and did a takedown on him, and got the achievement called First Blood. That tickled me, I must admit. I do like some of the naming of these achievements. They will, because I don't often read them, because I don't get them too many, because I don't play many games other than Destiny. But yeah, it was just very amusing for me, that. Resident Evil 2, I've started playing the PS4, as I said earlier. And because I completed one character on the Xbox One, I thought, well, I'll play the opposite character to see the other side of the storyline. And what I did was, and some people may curse me for saying this, but I bought a key to unlock the unlimited weapons. And normally in Resident Evil games, you'd have to do within a certain time frame and get a certain grade to unlock, like the rocket launcher or the Gatling gun. So what I did was I just you could buy the key online on the Xbox or PlayStation, for example, and they're in your inventory at the start of the game. And as I've already played the story once before. I'm going to be playing the same part of the story. I thought it was just good fun just to run around with a Gatling gun or just a rocket launcher, and that's all I need. And it is very satisfying, shall I say, when there's a load of zombies come there and the chance of them to the point that you have got one bullet left, but in this case I have a rocket launcher and it doesn't matter. It's just thoroughly entertaining, that is. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, think about these sort of unlocks. I mean, for this sort of game, if you can't get within that time frame or get the grade, you don't get to unlock them. Obviously, some other games have done this in the past. Like, I think Tiger Woods, you could unlock certain clubs, if I remember rightly. Because if you didn't want to, if you hadn't had the time to put it in the game and progress, you could actually do that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it also called cheated?
No, because I've already played the game, completed it on normal. So, no, it isn't cheating at all.
So, when you use these unlocks, do the achievements still pop? Or does it switch them off?
No, the achievements I've started to pop in the PlayStation still.
Okay,
so,
interesting.
When you say did you pay for the unlock?
Yes, you do. Yeah, it's only.
How much was that then for? Like,
£3. £3.
Oh, that's okay. That's not bad.
It's not going to break the bank, is it?
Well, the way I look at it, if it makes you enjoy the game more and you're getting more out of it, then it's well worth it.
Oh yeah,
You know?
I mean, if I'd have done that at the beginning before I played it the first time round, it would have been nonsensical to do so.
Yeah.
But I think, and also this just gets me in the mood for when Resident Evil 3 comes out, and I'm still debating where to buy it first. Do I go PlayStation? Do I go Xbox? I don't really know.
You go for the better graphics.
Yeah.
PlayStation, you go for where it originated from.
Well, I know, that was the other thought, the feel and the way, but you know me, I'll probably end up with it on both, but do you know what, when the next consoles come out, and we might have actually proper 4K on a PlayStation, then won't we?
Oh, you good?
Steve, I know which format you get it on. You get it on PC, because you get yourself a PC.
Yeah, right, okay. We'll move on from that. Anyway, so this Destiny debacle. So, if any of you are aware that we're in the latest season, one thing you could do was this Corridors of Time. And basically what would happen is that everyone in the community would run the Corridors of Time, unlocking different routes. And it's culminating in that there is now an unlock code where you can go to the centre of the Corridors of Time. You can pick up an orb and a continuation quest for the exotic weapon called the Bastion.
But evidently, that is not Saint 14's grave. It's your grave.
Yeah, some people said it was Saint. I weren't too sure. I'll probably have to listen to it again on YouTube, because it was very.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the grave of your character.
But interesting though, as I said, when I got there, I picked up the exotic orb that I needed. It gave me the next quest step. Then I looked on the map. It asked me to go to Saint 14 in the tower, and you get the blue emblem, don't you, hanging over the characters that you've got to go and do something.
Yeah.
So I went over there, clicked on it, and then the orb disappeared. No quest returned, and nothing's happening for me at the minute. For yourself, though, you picked it up, but it's a bit of a broken.
Well, like I say, it wasn't broken for me, and I've completed the Bastion quest.
Yeah.
And all I can say is, I wouldn't really worry.
Well, this Destiny 2 is more of it's a collection game these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's turned into Pokemon. That's what it's turned into.
It's funny because I see, I played Destiny 2, the single player, and I finished it. I never went back to it after that. But I go onto Facebook sometimes and I see a picture you put up, Steve. This gun got quest done. And then Hayden be like, this gun gotten. It's very strange. It's like you complete these levels or these missions, and then or whatever missions you have to do, and you get that gun. But does that gun then add? Do you use that gun, or is it just the fact you have it and you put it into the vault and leave it there?
Depends. It depends.
It depends on the gun.
Yeah, and also with on the role you get as well, with the mechanics now of the game and how you can what mods you can add, is whether or not that can be a decent gun that you can be with, whether it's competitively or not.
I mean, it depends upon what gun entirely, because if it's exotic,
right,
then the rolls are always the same. But if it's a legendary, then you could get a god roll, or you could get a really bad roll on the same gun. So it really does depend on that. But I think for me, because I watch Cactus HD a lot, because he does a lot of reviews on the guns and stuff like that on YouTube. Yeah, and he's very good in what he does. But I'm still not really that much more clued up on what is like a god roll of a gun. And I'm sure I've probably deleted a load of ones that are actually god rolls.
Yeah, but listening to 2V talk about that there, no, it feels very Pokemon to me. Got to get them all, doesn't it? It just kind of thought of it there now. I think that's what it feels like. It's taking that mechanic and just put it into guns.
Well, so
it's an interesting kind of way of making it more adult orientated, I suppose, if you think about it, rather than that kiddie thing.
It's not only guns though, because it's armor as well.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes,
and it's your Sparrow or your like speeder bike thing that you ride.
But it's always the guns.
Or your ship.
It's always the guns I seem to see posted on our Facebook group. Finally got this Bastion. Finally, the Bastion quest exotic done or something, as you're talking about.
Yeah, that tends to be because when you're on Destiny now, which is probably slightly different to when you did it.
It scares me.
When you go into the director, which is where your maps were and all of that, there is a separate one on quests, and in there you can have up to 62 quests and bounties. So you could have like one quest and 61 bounties.
And we're all at different points in some of these quests, which we need to tidy up.
Yeah.
Some of us that we do play with, I give Mark a nod here, but his internet's not been great of late, so I don't know how he's doing.
And how long does some of these quests take, or these bounties take now?
It depends. It depends. I mean, I'm doing one for what's the one this season where you've got to do the shots with the trace rifle in a crucible. Can you remember, Steve?
I can't. Without looking, I couldn't tell you.
It's a kimono or something like that, isn't it? That ship. That gun. So, at the moment, I'm now playing Crucible, rather annoyingly.
Yeah.
But I'm having to play Crucible, but it's in the Glory playlist rather than the Valor. So, what happens there is you earn glory by winning. But if you lose glory. And I've got to get to a certain rank in that in order to be able to get this gun.
Because you'll be moving like 2 steps forward, 1 pace back, and so on and so forth.
Is that fun for you, Hayden? Like, when we hear you talking about it, it doesn't sound like it's fun. But I mean, is it?
If I'm winning, it's great fun. If I'm winning, it's great fun.
I know, yeah, but like, is it more of a grind? you just want to have the gun. You want to have it inside in your vault. That's another thing ticked off, if you know what I mean. Your OCD, you have to collect them all kind of thing. Tick off, I had that gun, next one, next mission, next quest. Is it that kind of thing?
Destiny is a grind. It's setting your sights on something.
But it is an enjoyable grind,
and then figuring out the best way to do it.
I think it's still an enjoyable grind. I mean,
yeah.
Overall, the game needs tweaking, always does. But the mechanics of shooting is a joy to play.
I will agree with you. I loved the gunplay when I played it. Now, like I said to you, I've tried to go back to it. It's just so much information is thrown at you. So much, like, it's just very intimidating. So
to be honest, you can do it as deeply or as as standard as you want. It depends upon what you want to get out of the game. Once you start to understand the mechanics, that's where you sort of like move into the space that Steve and I are in. I mean, have you actually finished the season now, Steve? In terms of the pass?
I'm ranked, Season of the Dawn?
Yeah.
I'm ranked 61, so I'm getting there.
Yeah, because I think I'm about rank 130 or something like that now.
Well, you must have been putting in a hell of a lot of
insomniac
time and hours you've been putting in, probably, compared to me.
because I'm my character's like 976.
Okay. Ironically, not already. The season actually ends in 43 days, 21 hours. So there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
And do all the stuff that's in that season, then, if you don't get it, it's gone. Or you don't complete.
No, if they do it the way that they did the last one, then any exotics that you didn't unlock, you get by visiting a webpage. But anything that's not an exotic, so like any special seasonal armor and weapons, that's it. You're not going to get them.
Okay, interesting.
But it's still good fun. I know we don't glorify it too much anymore. But
but hearing you talk about it makes me want to play it, if that makes sense. But when I go on, then like when I load up the screen and I go into, and I just see red dots everywhere, and I see it's just very, very intimidating. Because I did try and load it up, and I linked my Xbox, which I finished the game on. And it's just there's stuff everywhere, and I just felt don't
try to be too inordinate in what you've seen. Just go to one thing and do it, and concentrate on that only. Forget everything else.
That's why I wanted to. What I was saying to you, if we played together on the PC,
I'm going to try and put some time aside for it. I think to try.
Because then I could sort of like guide you through what you need to know in order to be able to get to a position where you can think, well, actually, this is for me, or it maybe it isn't for me.
And then
or might be, I just want to dip in and just play a little bit, but not all of this.
And if it comes to case, then it comes to three of us, we'll pop onto the Xbox or PlayStation.
I feel like that kid who's been pressured into just one drink, just one, just start, the two of you, that's what it feels like. Just one sip.
We want you to get into the Destiny crack.
And the two of you push, go on, you'll be fine. That's what it feels like. But no, honestly, hearing you talk about it makes me, because you both talk about it with such passion and such love, it comes across, So I think one day I'll definitely give it a go. Maybe next few days. I have a couple of days off,
Well, I'm in most evenings, so just give me a shout, and then I can go through it with you. Dead easy.
Well, like I was saying to you, I'm usually quiet this time of year, but for some reason, I don't know, is there more money around, or people are spending? It's just we haven't quietened at all. So it's the hours seem to be holding the same as Christmas, unfortunately. So, which is good and bad. If it did.
Well, everybody's spending all of the money now before Brexit happens, and then everybody's economies implode in 5 days' time. It just
seems to be a lot like our Sundays in January now are busy. Anyway, I digress. Sorry, Steve. You continue.
So anyway, let's let's move on to the next segment. So we go to movies, TVs, and streaming. Okay, guys, right. News first. Now, who put the news in this week? Hayden, is that you?
No.
Oh, Alan?
I think it was me. I quite like news and finding stuff, so I put a few things in there, if that's okay.
Okay, so what did you give us? I mean, there's a couple of bits that we all know about, but yeah.
Yes, it's just kind of small little tidbits. I don't want to go too much into. I thought, which it's a lot of the stuff as you probably can you know already, it's kind of obvious, but Simon Pegg has confirmed Mission Impossible 7. He's coming back as Benji, the IMF tech guy turned field agent. And from what I've heard as well in others, of the usual Twitterverse, is that they're filming 7 and 8 together.
Yeah, there's a back-to-back. Yeah, there's a back-to-back idea they're doing this time.
I think that Tom Cruise's age has a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah,
so,
and they're all trying to. There's one I'm trying to see. Well, I haven't seen yet. Everyone's been trying to nudge Rebecca Ferguson to see if she's going to be in there again. But I'm sure she will be.
I think she will. I think there's a great team there. It'll be a shame for them to split it up. The last few have been really good.
Yeah, because they have really followed a story, even bringing back some of the characters like.
It's like there's a nice arc there. The last three of them, I think, which has been great. Kind of taken that. The last three was the 4 movies of James Bond. They've kind of done that style as an arc going through all the movies, So it's been good.
Yeah, I mean, Fallout, I say, was outstanding, and every time I'm sure Tom Cruise is always going to outdo himself each time.
Yeah, he's very watchable, in fairness.
And hopefully he won't break an ankle this time when he does the next one.
I was just thinking that because when you look at the angle that his leg was, but what is amazing is that he still
he got up and run.
Carried on and ran
past the camera.
He's a diehard. He's so good at what his job.
Like, if you've seen some of the clips, the making of the new Top Gun movie, like they're really pushing that stuff in cockpit with the cameras. I'm so excited for that movie. That's just going to
I tell you what, you'd have to. I don't know. Have you got Ace Combat? Because I think you need to purchase that.
Never.
I've heard you talk about it. Yeah, I've got that. I've got it on the PlayStation, and I think Xbox. It's on Game Pass. Is it?
Oh, is it? Well, I'll do it here on my phone. I'll download it.
Have a look. But when Top Gun comes out, you'll all want to play that game because it will give you that feeling. I'm telling you now.
Next bit of news I know was Hugo Weaving. We all know him as Agent Smith from the Matrix trilogy. Unfortunately, he's not returning for the fourth. He's one of the only the previous actors who isn't coming back. And I thought maybe it was just down to story. The new move, whatever the next story is going to be, or arc or plot. But actually, he released a very kind of interesting comment where that he was promised increase in wages for every movie he appeared in from the first, second, third, but that didn't actually happen apparently for him. So I think it's more he's unhappy with the producers and the guys that are making it than anything else. So again, it's a shame because he's actually a great character.
That wasn't for that. I don't think that was for that. I think that was for Captain America.
Oh no, I think it happened as well for Matrix. He name checked both of them, I think, as well. So I think the trilogy he signed a contract as well. So maybe you're right.
Because I know that was what he'd said about his Marvel contracts, which is why he wasn't back in Infinity War.
Yeah, I think he mentioned Matrix as well as a thing. So look, I mean, it's a shame either way. He's not going to be back. He's a great character. Hopefully they can talk.
Well, I mean, he was joint equally important as Keanu Reeves in that movie. Yeah. You know, the whole Mr. Anderson.
He was a great character.
That always comes to mind where he says, Mr. Anderson. Just the way he just reels it off. It's just so...
And we all did an impersonation of him, but none of them could
I won't do it.
Obviously, he was in the Lord of the Rings as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So.
He was indeed. Yeah. And it's going to be a TV series.
Yeah, they've released some of the cast names. There's some good actors going. A lot of people. There's one or two from Game of Thrones after are apparently turning up in that as well. So let's fingers crossed they do that right.
Yeah, just thinking about the Matrix as well, though. I've heard something interesting, which is that Neo is actually going to be the villain.
Wow.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
wouldn't it?
It'd be an interesting thought, though.
Either way, it's nice to have it back. You know, it definitely is the resurgent of Keanu Reeves from John Wick to Bill and Ted. Now that clips and video and pictures you've seen, that looks really good as well. So,
can I just say it'll be good as long as it's not Kingdom of the Crystal Skull sort of feature.
We don't talk about that. That's a bad movie.
No.
So, next bit of news, only something quite light-hearted and I suppose connects to our Picard talk. Patrick Stewart was on a TV show in America. I think it's I can't remember the name, but anyway, Whoopi Goldberg is one of the chat show hosts on it. And he invited her live on the show to return to Star Trek, and I just thought, to see her reaction and everything, it was a really nice moment, and to have it captured like that, she seemed very, very happy about it, and it was good, you know. And then it's nice to see her back in the show as well, I'm guessing, for season 2, which is next year, hopefully.
Well, she was always a big Star Trek fan anyway.
So look, it was if you haven't seen it, go and just Google Patrick Stewart invites Whoopi Goldberg to return, and I'm sure there's plenty of clips everywhere. It's a nice few minutes of a thing. I'll keep that for last. The Arrowverse series finale, series finale, which is happening quite soon. Unfortunately, I'm gonna miss the Arrow show. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I know. I followed it from the beginning, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I actually have a pop figure in front of me here from the Arrow. You know, I'm a huge fan. No, they teased the Green Lantern. At the end of the Arrowverse crossover this year, just a slight tease of it.
Yeah, they don't go too much into spoilers. No, we've not seen any yet. Remember,
they've been teasing all along, really, with Dig. For past episodes of the series, you know, breadcrumbs kind of dropped all over the place for like him being a part of that Green Lantern universe, and HBO Max now are doing a TV series on it. I've seen a few pictures and a few pictures, stills of it, and it looks quite good. So apparently the very last episode they're going to do some kind of connection to the next HBO series. So it's a nice kind of connection again to that universe, and keeping it all in the DC universe, which they're doing, you know, which I quite like. And the TV, they're really killing at the moment, DC on TV, you know, they're bringing everything together and connecting it all into one timeline and one universe, you know. It's great. Like,
I wish you could do that with the movies.
That's what I'm saying. They've done such a good job with the TV show. Well, I mean, they're saying that now, Hayden, the last few movies and the ones that are coming out, I think they're learning. You know, I think they're stepping away from the Marvel thing, that they try to do, you know, and just doing their own thing now.
It's very difficult for an actor that's say regularly doing the TV show.
Yeah. Sometimes
they can't pull off doing the movie version. It sometimes for some reason wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Now that's no disrespect to anyone, or even Grant, who plays the Flash. But sometimes it's a different ball game, I think, doing the movie compared to a TV show. Yeah. I mean, it's more intense in the TV show because it's week in, week out.
But equally, you also have more time to develop your character, as opposed to 2 or 3 hours, which you do on a movie. Yeah.
But I don't know if any of you watched the new Harley Quinn animated series that's running at the moment, which is also connected to the Suicide Squad movies and stuff. That's unbelievable. Like, that's a fantastic series. Again, the writing in that is just fantastic. So, look, I'm more of a DC fanboy than a Marvel zombie fan. So, for me, it's great to see. And like all the little breadcrumbs they dropped over all those series, episodes of Arrow with Dig, his stepfather being General Roy Stewart, who was one of the characters in Green Lantern, and they had all those small little nods to him, and the Flash, even in one of the crossovers, Elseworlds crossovers, they had Earth 90. One of the Flash, one of the opposite Flashes asked him where his ring was. You know, so all those small little touches I thought were lovely. So hopefully
it's a shame they can't do more of that. I know they've got their own shows, and they do this every year. They will bring everyone together.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the shows have done better than others. Supergirl's been a bit poorly of late.
Yeah, I've gone completely off that, and it's got another season, so it's...
I'm still going to give Legends another go because I've sort of grown to enjoy it in a way.
Speaking of that, now I've watched the first 2 episodes of the new seasons of Legends, and it's very, very good. What I will say is that since the crossover, Infinity and Earth, the Arrow's first new episode after that was really good. Legends was really good, and even Supergirl was really good because they brought Lex Luthor more into the world now. I don't want to spoil too much, but they've changed the whole world.
Yeah, there's obviously there's things.
So
that
now
are
they're all
happening, yeah.
they know what it was like previously. Even with Dig, they've done something with his daughter that happened during Flash. When Flash.
I mean, it's the same. I mean, we can talk about what happened before. So where we was watching Arrow, and we were looking at their daughter, all grown up as a sort of a late teenager now, and kicking ass as well with all the other characters as well.
Yes, I thought it was great.
And I mean, she's actually quite good because there's another show she does on Netflix that the missus watched, where I can't.
Shadow Hunter.
Yes, that's it. And I can see the appeal to that actually, to be honest. But it's just they were bouncing around. Arrow was always bounced around the time zones, and it's always gone backwards and forwards. And if you're used to that, it's not a problem. And it's just a shame what we're gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna be very sad.
It's a bit like Lost in a lot of respects.
Yeah,
it does
like
sidebursts and it jumped everywhere,
And
flash forwards, flashbacks, flash
I know
sideways.
it had its poor seasons. Don't get me wrong. There was 1 or 2 seasons there were very, but I will say the last 2 seasons have been brilliant. They've really closing off very well.
I've missed some other characters that were not there. John Barrowman's character, for example, has been brilliant. And actually, I noticed because we watch Hawaii Five-0. I know you guys might not, but the show on that has just has introduced a new character. And I thought, God, she looks familiar. Who is she? Who is she? And she plays a member of the League in Arrow. And I thought, yeah, of course it is. And so just coming to terms with her being in Hawaii Five-0 now. I'm not a member of the League in League of Assassins, but
So that's the DC news. And finally, on very sad news, the loss of Terry Jones, the Monty Python's member, star, director, of course, of Life of Brian. Unfortunately passed away at 77. It's very sad, but
he was not a well man, was he? So
no, but it's nice. Not that it's nice, but Sky and a couple other channels are showing some of the Monty Python movies again and some of the old documentaries. So it's been really good to watch them again. They still hold up, They're great
I think so. I mean, it's quite amazing how the Americans took to it as well.
Yeah. It's
because you think they wouldn't. It's very
British.
I've been the same way because I was talking to someone today about the other thing that they've taken well to us is Benny Hill, and you wouldn't think they would get it even not like it, but they wouldn't get it, but they do. You know.
I think the thing is with Benny Hill, what was really not nice was just sort of like the way that he was just abandoned.
Well, again, he was a very sad man.
Wasn't given the ability to, reinvent himself.
But he was so typecast because when he appeared in the movie with Michael Caine, the Heist,
the Italian
he was
job.
pretty much the same character again because they used certain size women to bring him out and
tease him, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I just felt all I really missing was the music, and that, and even the same facial expressions. He kind of was really typecast, I think, through his career, unfortunately,
Right.
But still, it was a great. I mean, they won't allow it now back in TV, even though they're bringing back Little Britain, aren't they? So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
It's a bit old now, but there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So that's all my news. I hope it was good.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's excellent. So I'll do similar releases as I can read them this time, and we'll move from there. So January the 31st, we have The Lighthouse, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
I really want to see that movie. We have Richard Jewell, A Beautiful Day in the Neighbourhood. Isn't that the Tom Hanks movie? Remember rightly?
Yeah,
Yeah. We have The Rhythm Section, Queen and Slim, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, and Intimate Zero.
Some good movies there.
So, but The Lighthouse is really an outstanding one for me there that everyone's been talking about across the water.
Yeah, Richard Jewell is the new Clint Eastwood movie, the true story about the man who was accused of planting the bomb in America. Just to make himself famous. And I've seen the documentary, so no, I've heard from what I've seen that they're saying it's not his best movie, but it's still an interesting story. Queen and Slim is very good. That's the guy who's in Get Out.
Yes.
That's an interesting movie as well, that actor. So there's some good movies there,
Yeah, there is, and there's some really good ones coming this year. Okay, who's up for Blu-ray DVD releases? Hands up. Anyone?
Well, I suppose it's my turn, isn't it, really?
Far right.
Okay, so Blu-ray DVD releases. We've got Ad Astra on Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray and DVD. We've got Beverly Hills Cop 1 to 3 Blu-ray set 35th anniversary edition. Hard to believe it's that
35
long.
years.
Yeah, amazing. Doctor Who, The Collection Season 26, Blu-ray limited edition box set if you're into that sort of thing. Killjoy Season 5 and Want Seasons 1 to 5 are on Blu-ray and DVD. Thinking about Terry Jones, we've got Monty Python's Flying Circus Series 2 and a complete box set on Blu-ray, and also the Series 2's on DVD. And one that I like, The Good Place, Season 3, is on Blu-ray. And there's only one more episode of that as well. Yeah.
Anything else there stand out for you? I mean, there's a couple there for me. Cujo, the Stephen King with D. Wallace. Earthquake Blu-ray, which I do actually have picked up a copy of that, which I'm assuming if it's the same Charlton Heston movie that I have.
Great movie, yeah. I like Earthquake.
Which is class. I watched that over Christmas, actually.
Yeah. Orphans is a pretty good TV show, if that's the one. Orphans, ran for a couple of seasons. That's quite a good TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else really? No, nothing. It's kind of a... The lady...
and this Orphans is... There is a movie called Orphans as well, I've seen.
Oh, is there? Sorry, I thought it was a TV show, Orphans.
So it may be that, I don't know. But anyway, Alan, do you want to do the cinema charts?
I did the worldwide ones anyway. So Bad Boys for Life has jumped in straight into number 1. Second, number 2 then is 1917, which I'll be talking about later. Number 3 is Doodle. It's doing well in the box office, but apparently the reviews are very poor on it.
Yeah, it's doing little on reviews.
Yeah, doing little, that's good. Jumanji Next Level is number 4. Number 5 is the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Number 6 is Little Women, a movie again I watched this week. It's very good. Number 7, Just Mercy. Number 8, my movie I spoke about last week, and which has actually grossed nearly 350 million worldwide now on a nice budget. Knives Out. Number 9 is Like a Boss, and number 10 is one of the biggest animated movies. In 9 weeks, it's made 1.4 billion. It's Frozen 2. So that's a lot of money in 9 weeks.
Yeah, very cold movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
I'll do the UK ones. So at number 5, we've got Jumanji, The Next Level. Number 4, we've got The Gentleman. Number 3, we've got Little Women. Number 2, Bad Boys for Life. And 1917 is still there at number 1.
Okay, so Blu-ray DVD charts. So from 3 down to 5, we got Spider-Man Far From Home. From 1 down to 4, we got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It Chapter 2 in at 3. In at 2, Rambo Last Blood. And I can't find the 4K version anywhere yet, which I'd like to pick up for that. And still number 1, we've got It Chapter 2 as well. So interesting.
I think we just need to make a correction
as
well.
That's last week's, isn't it?
Last week, yeah, because I think, Alan, you said it was about 1 hour and a half. It's actually 2 hours 50.
Anyway, we can wipe that.
You must have been really, really enjoying it for it to fly by that much, because that's nearly 3 hour movie. Was it? Yeah, 2 hours 50 minutes. It's Chapter 2.
Because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's nearly 3
No, I
hours
think I was talking
well.
about the Rambo movie. Was an hour. It was a short movie. Did I say it's okay?
I think Rambo seemed to be short because it just flew by in the cinema when I saw it, I must admit. But that's going to be... I think, to be honest, if I remember rightly, when I was talking about it, when I was sort of reviewing it on Twitter, and I was saying that it was something like an hour and a half, but it didn't need to be any more than that. It was... You know, the old school movies that were always that sort of length?
Yeah.
But that was about right, because you had all the killings in it.
Oh yeah, the killings are brutal, like I said last week. It's
and especially at the very end with the chest.
It's just very handy. Hit all the tunnels they've dug.
Yeah,
lucky.
But it would. Yeah, I think it didn't need to be any longer. To be honest, I think it was about right.
I mean it did well, and I'm sure. He said he's not making more, but it made a lot of money, so we'll see.
What gets me is about the Rambo ones is you can currently buy Rambo First and Last Blood, but what about parts 2 and 3?
Well, they're available on Amazon now because
they're available on Sky as well. Because I just watched all 4 of them together.
Yeah, no, but if you want to buy it, they only do the 1 and One
No,
of
they
There's
four.
no
don't.
box
They do
set,
more
you
now.
know?
No.
The box.
Didn't know
There
that.
is there is a Blu-ray
thought there
box
was
set I've
too.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that'll be 1 to 4, not Last Blood.
Oh,
though,
with
won't
the
it? 'Cause
edition
there's
one.
Actually,
Okay.
5
Yeah.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
bring it out. They'll do something. You know,
Yeah, 'cause
Christmas
I've
this
been
year.
wanting
I'd say
to actually
Christmas
get
this
the
year. You'd
whole
probably
lot.
see that. You know.
But they are.
Yeah, I want to get the whole set. So, I'm sort of like holding off seeing this until I've actually can pick up 1 to 5 and watch the whole lot end to end. Because it's been years since I've seen 1, and 2 was my
Yeah, I
favourite
watched
one
2
out of
the other
all
night. It
of
was
them.
very good. It actually held up very well.
So I'm just looking on Amazon. So they're actually 4K for Rambo: Last Blood is there. Also, Rambo: First Blood, the first movie's there, and also the one called Rambo is in 4K as well.
Yeah.
And the others there. Let's have a look. Maybe they're not. Oh, I can see the original box set I've got, which is the Blu-ray box set 1 to 4, which is good. That was what I have at the moment. So I think they're all there actually in 4K.
Yeah, but you can't buy it as a 1 to 5. That's
Yeah,
what I
well,
mean.
I think to be honest with you, especially the price, because all right, the new one's $19.99. I think the all Rambo itself is $15.56 at the moment. So that is not from the UK though, because that's via the global store. But yeah, if you bought one a month, you'd have the set.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we swiftly move on
Yep.
to what
Yep.
we've been watching?
Who's
Okay.
going
Who's going first?
Oh, in the list it's Hayden says first, and he's talking about some rubbish film called Downsizing, so it's fine, it's all right.
All right, so first one is Altered Carbon. This is a series that's on Netflix at the moment. It's set 300 years in the future, and technology has allowed people's minds to be sort of like digitally recorded into carbon and placed into new bodies, which are known as sleeves. So they can grow bodies to order either a clone of your own body or just create a body just sort of like randomly. So the result is death is seldom permanent if you have the money to be able to do this. So Takeshi Kovacs, played by Will Young Lee, is the only surviving soldier of a group of sort of like interplanetary soldiers who were defeated in an uprising against this new world order. As a result of that, he is imprisoned, or his mind's imprisoned, for centuries until a really impossibly wealthy businessman, Lawrence Bancroft, played by James Purefoy, gives Takeshi a new sleeve. The sleeve is in the form of the actor Joel Kinnaman, who's also on the First Man show on Apple TV Plus at the moment. And he offers him a chance to live again, and to be well compensated for it, on the condition that Takeshi finds out who killed him. So who killed Lawrence Bancroft? So it's based on the books by Richard K. Morgan's, which are like cyberpunk novels of the same name. I have to admit, a couple of times I tried to watch this, I struggled with episode 1. And had to go back to it a few times. But I was really glad that I did go back and sort of like rewatch it a couple, just to sort of like get this world into my head, because as the story goes on, it becomes more compelling over the series, which explores like basically the concept of what if there isn't any death.
Yeah.
So the only way that you can actually die is if this like carbon and metal sort of like disc which is put into your spine is destroyed. Yeah. So that's the only way that you can die. And if you're mega wealthy like Lawrence Bancroft, then you can actually upload your mind from the carbon, so that if anything happens to your body, you can be, it doesn't matter. Even if the carbon's destroyed, because there's a backup of your personality up to so many hours previously, which is why he wants to find out who's killed him. because, everything was destroyed, including like this carbon disc that's in his spine that has his personality on it. So, obviously this is a very cyberpunk sort of like noir kind of, show, which borrows quite heavily from Blade Runner in terms of the design. Yeah, but it doesn't go quite as far as Blade Runner. The place isn't as sort of like smoggy and, polluted, but it is definitely, there is that whole sort of Blade Runner-esque sort of thing. You should probably like this, Steve, to be honest, for you to watch. It's a great story. It's got lots of twists. It's well imagined. There's some good actors in it as well. And season 2 has been confirmed.
Yeah, I saw the trailer today for season 2. It's the actor Anthony Mackie, the guy from the Marvel movies. He's playing the main character this time, the main sleeve, I suppose you call it, is it? This time. Yeah. I suppose what makes it interesting is every season they can probably put a different actor as the main lead, So, yeah. Plays Falcon, is it, in Marvel?
Yeah.
So, I like yourself, Hayden, I watched the first episode or two and I was kind of going, I went away from it, but then I came back again and I started it, and I actually, as it went on, it got very, very good. Myself and my wife watched it and we really got into it. It's a good story, very Blade Runner, like you said.
Yeah, it's got that. I remember seeing the trailer for it, but I never went any further. Again, it's that same old.
No, I think definitely, as Hayden said, Steve, you like that Blade Runner style look and feel of it. It really is very Blade Runner style, like the rain and the neon, and it's good,
Yeah.
You should really like this.
And what I might do is I might download a couple of episodes on my phone, so I can have a browse when I'm at lunch, sort of thing.
But like Hayden said, just hang in there. The first episode is building, kind of explaining to you, I suppose, really the story or what the premise is,
It builds the world, doesn't it? And it throws a lot at you because you've got to get this concept about how people can suddenly become immortal because of this little disc that they literally put between the discs of your spine.
Because it kind of starts in the past, I suppose, really, doesn't it? And the main character who becomes like he gets put into the new skin or whatever. There's it's quite interesting because they actually bring back his skin later on, but it's inhabited by another character who is attacking him. Which is really quite an interesting concept that you fight in your own body. There's a very interesting moment that it's not a spoiler at the very first episode where he's coming out of, they use prison bodies as well, I think, and there's a young girl who gets put into an old woman's body because that's all they could afford and stuff, and she was talking to her parents as if she was still 7 years old, and I thought that's and how did the parents deal with that? It was a very interesting concept,
And later on where somebody's mother comes back but in a man's body.
Interesting.
Yeah, so hang in there. Same as The Witcher, I think we spoke about last week, or give it 1 or 2 episodes and stick with it. It's the payoff is worth it in the end,
Yeah, cool. Definitely. It's definitely one for watching the whole season, and because it's so in depth and so convoluted, probably need to be concentrating on it as well.
A lot. There is a lot thrown at you. But then if you had a chance to see the trailer for season 2, Hayden, it looks really good, really, really good now.
I haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to when it comes on.
It's not soon enough, I think.
It's going to be straight on.
There's a lot of information coming out now on it.
Yeah, definitely. So that's my first show. Next one's a couple of movies. So the first one is Downsizing. Now this was a sci-fi comedy from Alexander Payne and starring Matt Damon.
Comedy's a strong word here, no, Hayden.
I'm coming on to that. I'm coming on to that. Now,
I didn't deliberately because I know Downsizing had a bit of a poor review, from what I heard. Now you may be able to correct me on that one, but
the first half is very good, and I will leave you talk about Hayden. Sorry.
It peters off very quickly. basically, the premise is, in the future, the Earth's overpopulated as global warming's really taking a hold, etc. And a scientist invents a way to shrink everything, including people, down to a few inches. So it resolves the overcrowding, it resolves the food shortages and everything. Because if you shrink down to, being the size of a Star Wars figure, one apple will suddenly feed hundreds of people. Sort of thing. So, that gives you that's the sort of idea. And everybody who does this, because the costs are so much smaller, literally, when you're a small person, then if you're an average sort of like middle class kind of family, you can live like kings when you downsize, because the value of money is much bigger in the small world than it is in the big world, if you see what I mean. Because obviously the size of your house is, probably about the size of a drawer, as opposed to being the size of a house.
Yeah, I think they were saying, like, if you had $100,000, it was equivalent to like $4 million in downsizing universe,
Yeah, the amount of money that you have scales in the same way, sort of thing. So, Paul and Audrey are a married couple, Paul being played by Matt Damon, and they decide to downsize and live a wealthy and peaceful sort of life. Matt Damon's, as Paul, goes and gets downsized, but his wife, Audrey, has cold feet after he's been downsized, within like a few minutes of each other, and she ends up remaining big. They get a divorce, and so Paul is now basically in this world where most people are sort of like couples, and he's on his own. So he, because he goes through a divorce and it's very costly to him, ends up downgrading from this palatial, mansion that he's got because of downsizing to having to go to an apartment, and he's neighbours with a very noisy local neighbour called Dusan, who's played by Christopher Waltz, as in Blofeld on the Spectre movies.
Yeah.
So he strikes up a relationship with him, and then he meets a woman who cleans for him, who was an ex-political refugee named Goklan Tran, who's played by Hong Shu, and she's basically does cleaning for him. And her story was, the reason why she's famous is because she was the only survivor of people who were smuggled into America in a box of cereal or something or other like that. So I can't remember the exact details, but it was something, it was a TV box, that was it. It was inside a TV box. So originally this was a film I was really, really looking forward to. It's done really badly in the box office, but the premise of it and the trailer looked really quite promising.
The trailer sold it. Even when I watched the trailer, the trailer actually, it's one of those movies where you watch a trailer and it's actually better than the movie, and after you've watched the movie, which annoys me sometimes,
I would totally agree with this. For me, saying this is a sci-fi comedy, this is a comedy that is bereft of any funny moments.
At the end.
With a lot of the attempts at comedy seeming to be at the expense of the stereotype of Gok's character, because, she'd be Mr. Paul, sort of, that sort of humour. Yeah. It doesn't work in a modern world. It's not politically correct. It's just quite pathetic that a film of this cost would be trying to make that into a joke. The movie tries to say something about climate change, because that's what the overarching story is about, that's in the background. To be honest, I kind of feel it misses it.
It doesn't really go in depth to it.
It doesn't, no. There is something that happens. I don't want to go into it, but it explains a bit more about the climate change, but it doesn't actually work in terms of what they do. And ultimately, I feel that this movie kind of fails to go anywhere and has a much less than satisfactory conclusion. So I would say Downsizing, Matt Damon, he plays all right in it, but this is an avoid.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Or watch the first half and turn it off.
Yeah.
I actually
would say if you've got to halfway through, you've done well.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You downsized the amount of storage on your phone. Yeah. So my last one I want to talk about is a movie called Welcome to Marwen. So this is American drama film directed by Robert Zemeckis, who co-wrote the script with Caroline Thompson. It's inspired by Jeff Malberg's 2010 documentary called Marwen Call. It follows a story, which is a true story, of Mark Hogenkamp, played by Steve Carell, who is attacked by sort of like a group of thugs out, one evening, and that's because Steve Carell's character has a penchant for women's shoes.
Yeah,
that's why he was attacked.
Very badly beaten, apparently, and I've seen the documentary now, and he talks about it, so it's sad to watch.
Yeah. So he loses his memory, and because he was an inspiring artist, and then Mark has post-traumatic stress disorder, and how he copes with it is by changing that trauma into a fictional village of Marwen, which is built by these models that he's created in his sort of garden, and through these miniature models and using imagination with sort of like kind of like Barbie dolls and action figures, creates lots of sort of different scenarios. So the world of Marwen comes to life throughout the movie as the dolls which Mark takes pictures of, but what it does is it shows you his imagination of what that story is around the photographs that he's taken. Now, you can see his art online. If you just type in Marwen Call, you can actually look at the pictures that he takes, and they're absolutely fantastic.
The level of detail
Some of them look like
frightening.
It is phenomenal, and the pictures look quite realistic in some of them. So what Mark does is he bases the dolls on people he knows. So Captain Hoggy is Mark. Then there's the female dolls of Marwen are based on the women that are around Mark, that are sort of like supporting him and helping him or whatever. And very often these dolls come to the rescue of Captain Hoggy from the Nazis, and the Nazis are basically the doll embodiment of these sort of like white supremacists who beat him up. So this is one of those movies, it's, a very touching sort of heartfelt sort of movie, which really explores, a lot of the issues about memory loss and sort of PSD. It's not PTSD. It's not going to be something that for everyone. Have to say personally, and being having lived around people, I do feel that some of the people who are portrayed in the movie are maybe a little bit more understanding than you would actually probably think. So for example, a woman who moves over the road who he falls in love with, she's immediately empathetic towards him, whereas you think, really, if somebody moved in over the road from me and I was sort of like, playing with dolls, taking photographs of them and wearing women's shoes, it'd be like, you're weird. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's, in some ways, maybe it's like a little bit embellished, shall we say, a bit of creative license in that sort of done. And ultimately, the movie has a lot of flaws, and it's quite a clumsy screenplay generally, but it still manages to be, for me, enjoyable. Now, I know that, Alan, you said that you didn't enjoy it, but I really enjoyed the story generally. I think it's the type of thing I could sit with my wife and watch, and maybe that she would actually tolerate the sort of like doll sequences, which are quite good fun.
I agree. I actually watched a documentary after I watched the movie. Because I actually didn't realise it was a true story. I actually knew nothing about it until I saw the movie come up, and the documentary, I think 2011, 2010 or something, I can't remember, was actually a documentary on it. And the documentary, I don't know how it didn't win awards all over the place. It's absolutely, the level of detail he goes into on the characters, even to the stage where there's a gun that one of the soldiers actually cocks. there's actually, and it's so tiny that there's a clip goes in and out of it. But he's so eccentric, and the way like his memory and his struggle as well with the PTSD. It's hard to watch. I would say watch documentary first if you had the chance, and then watch the movie and maybe get more out of the movie.
Would it not spoil it or not?
No, it won't. I think it actually adds to the movie, because the movie, right, I found when I watched it, like you said, Hayden, if you're the person who moved in across the road, you'd say, what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's what I felt like when I was watching the movie. I'm kind of saying, well, what's he doing? Why is he, Where after I watched the documentary, I was more empathetic towards what actually happened to him, and I probably would have enjoyed the movie. Now, again, trying to find the documentary, it's online, it's available in most places. The documentary is well worth the watch, but again, it's an interesting movie. I think what you call it was the wrong actor for it, Steve Carell. I don't think he was the right actor for it. I think he didn't slot in for me.
He's got too much of a comedy. He's got a comedy background.
Yeah, I kept expecting it to get. Well, he was like organising the dolls and the characters, for the photograph. I kept thinking he would break into doing voices or doing something silly around it, where it was kind of quite a serious moment in each picture, if that makes sense,
But he didn't do that though. That's the thing.
Because I know him from The Office and from the one where he's with Jim Carrey. He's such an over the top actor. Even in the new show on Apple TV, Apple Arcade TV, where he's in.
TV
where he's on that morning show.
The morning show,
and
yeah.
He's
He's
really
excellent in the morning show.
He's actually better in that than he is.
Yeah, because that's the other show that I've completely watched this week. I wasn't going to mention it this week, but I've watched all of the morning show, and that show with Jennifer Aniston as well. Absolutely fantastic, and it really is. It has a lot of depth and explores that whole thing about sexual abuse in a
so if
TV
you've ever
show.
seen like Jim Carrey in the Man in the Moon, that movie, you've seen that. Hopefully you've seen that movie. Have you? With Jim Carrey.
I haven't.
Man in the Moon.
Yeah, what a movie! That's where he plays that famous comedian from Taxi.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
I know what you're on about. Yeah.
I think that kind of character, Jim Carrey would have slotted in there, even though he's a big comedian. I just didn't think Steve Carell was right for the role. Again, that's my own personal take, and it kind of took me out of the movie, and I didn't really enjoy it from there. No, it had its good moments, and again, the cinematography, the way they do the dolls and stuff is stunning. It's a great movie that way, like. But again, if you get a chance, documentary first, and then watch the movie. I would suggest. That's just me, personally. Even yourself, Hayden, if you get a chance, if you've seen it, have you seen the documentary?
Oh, I would have, as soon as I'd finished watching it, because I got to the end of the movie without realising it was a true story.
Yeah,
and then it says it in the credits. And I thought, really? Yeah. And I immediately, because it shows you a picture of him at the end, the actual guy. And it gives a little couple of lines about him. And I thought, wow. And then I looked up online, found out about this. I thought, right, I'm going to go and source that from somewhere.
If you enjoyed the movie, you'd probably enjoy the documentary even more now. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that after you watch it. It's really good.
Yeah. But I did find it a very touching sort of movie. It is one of those sort of, not so much feel good, but touching movies which explore certain parts of the human condition. And this one was exploring post-traumatic stress disorder and memory loss. And I think it did it in a touching way, but it could have been better. Personally, I didn't have a problem with Steve Carell in there. I think maybe it's because I don't know what order that you watched it, but I watched the morning show before I watched this, so I was sort of like got my head into him being quite serious. But I don't know. Maybe if I'd have gone from watching him in The Office to straight away watching him in this, I would have been expecting him to do something stupid. But because I'd seen him in the morning show and how he came across in that,
he's one of the main.
He's absolutely Yeah, and how he denies what he's doing, but and when he's like, saying to someone else, but the difference is, I didn't do anything wrong, but you're a pervert, sort of thing, and that, and it's quite.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the morning show next week.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting conversation. Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it from me.
Looks like I'm the poor one of the because I've only watched one film. Well, see, the thing is, I watch more than one movie, but sometimes they're movies you just don't want to talk about because it's something you may watch for a second or third time, and you're just chilling out because you don't want to concentrate on something. And I do that. I'll watch something that I've watched 1 billion times because I don't want to put something on that I would concentrate because I'm not in the mood to do that. If you were with me,
yeah.
So, Sky this week's latest offering in Sky Cinema was The Escape Room, and I've seen all of them bar this one, and I'm a bit of an escape room fan. I've done a few of them now, and they're good fun. I would really, if you ever get a chance to get a group of friends and go and do an escape room, it's well worth doing. They are.
No, I've never done one of those. So.
They're worth, honestly. They're really worth. Even if you. Because there's so many out there. There is like a little bit of a list of where the best ones to go to. And they all help each other out, the guys that do them. So this film here was from 2019. Actually came out this time last year, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So it's an early 2019
It is, yeah.
movie.
So 6 strangers are given a mysterious black box with tickets to an immersive escape room for a chance to win tons of money. Being locked in several rooms with extreme conditions, they discover that the secrets behind the escape room are a fight for survival because they start to die. It's do or die in this situation. The rooms were very intelligent and how they were put together. I wouldn't want to, even though this is on Sky at the minute, I wouldn't want to spoil the film as such, but each room they went into, well, even the missus said, it just sounds like this could have been a Saw movie without the gore, if you're with me. And they're all put in under severe conditions, and they've all got backgrounds as well to why they're there as well, which I won't go into. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Alan, you've seen this before, haven't you? Some time ago. Hello.
Sorry. I've seen this one. I saw it last year. It's a very good movie. It's actually, like you said, some of the rooms, the puzzles are actually quite ingenious in it. It is a very like a Saw movie, very much so like a Saw.
Without the gore.
Without the gore. But I think what the most interesting thing about it was, like, it was made on... It actually, I think, was made a couple of years ago. I think I read somewhere about that. And that it only cost like 7 or 8 million to make. It was a very low-budget movie. It was one... And it grossed pretty well worldwide.
Oh,
and
worldwide gross was 155 million.
Yeah, and I think it's gone over 100... Yeah, worldwide. And it only cost like 8-9 million to make or something. Which, it doesn't look as... you don't see it on the screen.
Yeah, budget was 9 million, but you don't get that sense of this.
No,
is a cheap
it looks
film.
like a top end movie, something like one of those Saw ones or something. But I suppose it's kind of the same thing as The Purge or some of those ones, you know. I mean, they did on a low budget.
Yeah, some of the other escape room ones felt a bit more low budget, but probably weren't because of the way they were filmed. Yeah, and this has got the grandiose of the technology they built these rooms in. With a twist at the end as well, which we all like a good twist at the end of the movie. Twist.
It was like, I don't know if you've seen that movie years ago, The Cube. It had a very kind of similar feel to that, where each...
Yeah, that was really good. And there was a Cube... Well,
they made a couple, didn't they?
Cube 2 when it was a Hypercube
yes, the Hypercube
as well,
one was only okay. I think that was in space, wasn't it, or something? There was one of them up in space.
Something like that, yeah. Or it might have been multi-dimensional or something like that. I think.
Yeah, but it's one of those movies you just kind of sit down and just... take it for what it is, and you really enjoy it. You know, it's great. You know,
the one thing I actually mentioned it in Internet Movie Database, but the crazy credit opening sequence was very clever.
Yeah, it's very clever.
Where you see the helicopter, well, you see above the buildings in the city it's based in, and the buildings move to a certain point where you actually read escape room in the buildings.
Yeah,
they did very clever.
The new one is due out. It's not that far away. I think it's August, is it, or something? Or November. I can't remember. It's due out soon enough anyway. I haven't seen much else online about it. But
no, I haven't. I mean, I have. There's about 3 or 4 escape rooms that have been going on.
Okay.
And if I just go to the main character in it, because I'm assuming she's in the sequel.
Yeah, she's actually a very good actress. She's good.
They're filming at the moment, 2020.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, great.
And she's in it.
They probably have a bigger budget this time, though. So it'd be good to see what they do with some more money as well.
They'll put some more ingenious puzzles involved. I mean, without going into too much detail, the bar of the pool room, the table.
Yes, that's very good.
Very clever.
That was
very
a great
clever.
room, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than
that, really, we might have a quick chat about Picard at the end of this, just briefly.
Yeah.
See our final thoughts.
I was going to say, because I want to see what your thoughts are on that.
Steve.
And there was a couple of bits I took a nod to, and I threw them out on Twitter this afternoon. But we'll go in that in a minute. Anyway, Alan, so you went to see 1917. I'm really intrigued about this, so I really need to see it.
I think I might. I'll leave that till my last chat. I'll just get the other two out of the way.
Okay.
Like I said to you, I watched quite a few shows this week. My kind of foreign movie recommendation I'll do quickly is The Farewell. I'm after watching this now 3 times, I'd say, over the last few weeks. It's just a fantastic movie. It's based on a true story of the director, and they actually, from what I read, a lot of families do this in Japan and China as well. Again, I like those kind of stories where they're based on fact, where a family member, she's the grandmother, she was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and now she was quite elderly, and they decide not to tell her that she's dying, and instead they decide to do a fake wedding to get all the family together into like one big party and kind of make a more goodbye to her. It's such a lovely movie. Again, I like these kind of movies that they feel good. I can't believe it was snubbed for so many Oscars. It got actually no love at all in the Oscars, not even for foreign pictures and stuff. No,
is this subtitled on this?
Yes, it's subtitles. But again, I think that adds to it because it's just some lovely dialogue in it. Mm-hmm. And the most interesting thing is the grandmother who it's based on actually went, and I only read that a couple of days ago. She went to see the movie, and that's when she found out she was still sick. And she's actually survived the last 4 years since they had the wedding. She's actually still alive, which I thought was lovely. Well, it's an absolutely it's a fantastic movie. It's not as quite as good as Parasite, which I spoke about last week. But again, I watched it again this week. It's just one of those movies I put on, and it's really nice to sit back and just enjoy. Great acting, great direction. It's actually quite funny in places because one of the granddaughters, who's the main character, she wants to tell her grandmother, but they're stopping her, and she wants to do all these big events with her grandmother because she thinks it'll be the last time. So, if you get a chance to watch it, it's in limited release at the moment, and it's on for streaming as well. It's called The Farewell. It's definitely worth it. I'll start in. This was a movie. I hope I pronounce it right now. It's called Togo. Now, this one, I had heard nothing about it, seen nothing about it, and it just kind of came out on streaming service. It's a Disney movie. And it's actually based on a true story, which I knew about because I've been to New York a few times, because there's actually a statue in New York of the dog that got all the credit for this famous thing that happened. It's a plague that hits a town in Alaska in 1924-25, and at the time it was called the Storm of the Century, so nobody could really get through except for these dogs, the Alaskan mushers, and they have dogs that lead, and so it was like over 500-600 miles there and back to get the serum that would save the kids. There was 26 or 27 kids that they would have died if they didn't get the serum. So the only way they get through, really, William Dafoe, who's absolutely brilliant, and he's actually in the movie The Lighthouse, which you want to see, Steve, I think. He's in this, and he's just, he carries the movie so well, because in most of the movie it's just him and his team. In some of the scenery is there's certain sections that are just breathtaking. Like this movie would look stunning on the big screen even, It really captures that kind of old Disney feeling movies, the dogs like gone home, finding their way home, and that kind of nice, lovely movie about animals and stuff. It's really old school feel to it. Now, the one thing that surprised me was that it's actually really tense. There was parts I was watching, especially one sequence where they're going across an ice lake on 2 occasions. They go across an ice lake and it's 25 miles long either direction. And it's frozen solid, obviously, because it's Alaska. But on his way back, it starts to crack. Now, the dog, Togo, which I did research on, is actually, he used to pull this, he was the lead dog. And he used to actually have a longer lead at the front of the pack, so that because he used to guide the dogs and obviously William Dafoe's character, he used to guide them in if trouble, or he used to find a way through just instinctively. And he's actually famous, from what I've read, for being so well. He was like a natural of just finding. So they used to have him way up ahead and leading the team from danger and everything. And there's one scene in the movie where the ice cracks just before they get to the land's edge, and Togo, because his rope is longer, I hope this isn't a spoiler, but anyway, he can jump across because his rope can reach the other end. And what he does then is, like, he pulls the ice that they're sitting on that's floating away towards the land so that the sleigh can get across. And I was going, wow, that's a great sequence. Whoever thought of it was great. And as I was reading about him, it's actually happened. He actually did that. Well, so the guy claimed. It's very well done, the movie. There's some great, I love dialogue. There's some great sequences in it. It's actually a very funny movie as well. When the dog is a pup. How he always escaped. He was given away a couple of times because he was such a nuisance, and he always ran back. A lot of that is true from the autobiography. And William Dafoe's character, he actually got very upset because Balto got all the credit for the serum run, and he actually ran the last 35 miles into the town, where Togo and his team ran 264 miles of the route. Which is massive, and it was in 2011 he actually got his own statue in New York, and he was given the credit and actually named as one of the bravest animals, or I don't know how to describe it, bravest dogs, adventurer. He was given a big award. He was finally given look, for me, as you know, I recently lost our dog. It was we've had him a long time, many years, and I don't know, did that affect me? The relationship between William Dafoe's character and these dogs. Yeah. But it was and I actually gave a copy to a friend of mine at work. Zisa, she's one of the girls I work with. And I said, look, just watch it and tell me what you think. And she came back today and she said it was one of the best movies she'd watched in ages. And she said she's going to watch it again. So when you get a chance to watch it, it's just a lovely movie, guys. It's fantastic. It's Togo, Togo. It's a new Disney movie, well worth a watch, and it's actually done. It's getting very high Metacritic scores as well, and so, which is good as well, you know. So it's getting great reviews.
Yeah, because Disney Plus been announced now and given a date and a price.
Yeah, the price is cheap as well. So
$5.99 or something. When we remember looking at it, something like that.
So that's good.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's good. Quickly now, I'll go on to the TV series I finished this week. Finally, I kind of put on the back burner for a while, and I went back to it after finishing the crossover. It's Doom Patrol Season 1. This now, if you've seen the first season of Titans, there's an episode where these characters appear. I think they were kind of testing the water because they're a very unusual bunch of characters. It was kind of DC's competition, really, I suppose, or their idea against the X-Men, where you have the character in the wheelchair who's their mentor, and he gets the team together in a kind of a mansion. But it was a very interesting. He's called the Chief rather than Professor X. It was a very interesting team of characters. They're all kind of an oddball of characters they put together, and they all have their, like, there's Jane who has Crazy Jane, as she's known, has 63 personalities. Each personality has its own power, some evil, some good. So it's quite
This has got Timothy
Dalton
Dalton,
plays
hasn't
the
it?
kind of, I suppose you call him the Professor X character. He's called the Chief. He disappears in the first episode of the season, and then it's kind of the team coming together, trying to find him, and the adventures they go on. Like there's and actually it has Brendan Fraser in it. What we all know from The Mummy. He plays a very unusual character called Cliffy Steele, or Robot Man, where he was in a massive crash and his brain gets put into by the Chief, Timothy Dalton's character, gets put into this really huge kind of copper looking robot, and he kind of got that Tin Man kind of persona where I don't have a heart, and he's trying to find his way. It's very good.
I have to admit, when I first saw this on Titans, I thought, surely that's not going to be Cyborg for
he comes into it. I'm just going to talk about him. No,
but he's not, because I was going to say he's actually in it, isn't he? From the movies.
Cyborg comes from the Flash crossover. He appears in the Flash, I think, or he appears briefly again, and he comes into Doom Patrol. Then as one of he actually becomes the leader of while they're looking for the Chief. It sticks pretty closely to the comics, which I read because I started watching this first off. I downloaded some of the comics onto my iPad. They're very unusual bad guys. Like they have a cockroach that has a god complex that narrates the story sometimes. It's very interesting. They have a donkey that farts words. They have a genderqueer street, which is a very strange one. The street is genderqueer. It's very strange. They have a man who gains his power from eating beer here. So it's like it's really, if you've ever seen the Umbrella Chronicles on Netflix, where it's very unusual superheroes or characters, it's gone down that vein. I really enjoyed it.
I was going to say this. The look of it has that sort of like grungy kind of look that the Umbrella Chronicles
which
has.
I quite like. I really enjoy it. No, I think it's nice to see DC do this, and the fact now that they've tied all this back into Titans and back into the Arrowverse as well, as we call it. It's all connected now together because, no spoilers, they become a certain planet or a certain number world that ties into the comics. So it's nice to see that. For me, it was a nice surprise. The actors, they had Mr. Nobody is the male villain in it, and he's played by the actor who was in Firefly. He was with the pilot in Firefly. He's a very good actor.
The one who also played the robot in
yes, that's
Rogue
right.
One.
Blonde hair,
and he narrates the story. And if you've ever seen the game Bastion. Have you ever played the game Bastion, where the narrator narrates kind of...
Don't say Bastion in front of Steve.
The game Bastion, he narrates that very similar style where he kind of tells them what's going to happen before it happens. And they're kind of saying, well, I'm not going to do that. But yes, they end up doing it, if that makes any sense. It's a really, really good series. I'd highly recommend it to anyone to have a look. Or to watch it. The season 2 is coming soon, so I'm glad I finished it. I'm glad I caught up on it.
I mean, to be honest, listening to you describe it, and I'm sure that people who don't get sci-fi or superheroes or whatever will really struggle with this. But the thing of, you've said, having a donkey who farts words, having a genderqueer street, all of this, that, and the other, or whatever it was.
The cockroach with a god complex is fantastic. He's so small, and he it's like Pinky and the Brain. He just wants to take over the world. It's really good.
Does it? But does it not make it much more childish?
It didn't for me. What I found, I actually found it a kind of like, if you've watched the Marvel movies or that kind of superhero genre, it's very kind of the hero. He's good looking. He's muscle bound. He's very like atypical, if that makes sense. He's very ultra. Where I found this was. Yet they're all just a mismatch of like characters. There's Rita, who's like hundreds of years old, she turns into the Blob. Like, she keeps herself together, beautiful. She never wants to grow old. And the way they connect and become a team over the 12 or 13 episodes to become like the Avengers, or to become, they all have their own special powers. No, I think, for me, it was fantastic. It suited my sense of humour, you know. It's just strange to see Brendan Fraser in this, because when you see him, they show like flashbacks, and you see him out of costume, out of robot, we'll say. Man, he's let himself go. He's not.
Oh really? He wants to go. Does he need to go back in that costume for the robot? Does he to keep out of the way?
He's looking like a man who's seen a lot of life over since the Mummy movies. You know, he's definitely. But it's good to see him be back, and he plays a great character. Look, it's not going to be for everyone, but for me, who's invested in Arrowverse, Titans, now soon to be Green Lantern, like even Batwoman, it's building a world and it's keeping them all together. It was just nice to finish off this now and see the way it connects to those, I thought. And it just, more of this stuff, you can't go wrong, you know?
No.
And if you want to watch it, you were not going to get it on Netflix because it's only available on Stars Play in the UK.
Well, you might be able to...
So you're going to have to subscribe to that. If you've got a subscription
there with the free bit, you might be able to crack some of that before your free bit's out, if you want to do that.
Stars Plays also has the Alfred series, doesn't it, as well?
That's a great series. I think I was telling you about that, wasn't I? Alfred, the spin-off that's a very good show. So, yeah, that's that. So I'll go on to my main one this week, 1917. Right, before I kind of start, I won't be too long, but I'm going to connect this movie in a lot of ways to video game ideas or video game tropes, because it actually feels like you're watching a video game in places, but I don't want that to take away from the movie and not put you off watching the movie, if that makes sense. I
was going to say from the trailer what I've seen of the movie, because I was going to see this on Friday, but plans changed, and it kind of like looks like you're watching a movie that's like a third person video game, a bit like Gears
I would say thing. I would even say more God of War, Call of Duty. It's directed by Sam Mendes, who of course has done some fantastic movies. I think he first came up with this idea from, was it the James Bond movie Spectre, maybe, if I'm right, where the opening sequence, you follow James Bond, Daniel Craig, through the hotel, up into the elevator, and it's just one long shot through the Day of the Dead, I think it was called at the time, that shot. So if you've seen that shot, you'll have an idea, or if you've played God of War, obviously, you'll have an idea of that one long take. Now, the movie was filmed, or cinematography was done by one of Steve's favourite, from the guy who did one of Steve's favourite movies, Blade 2049. It's Roger Dickens. They've worked together a lot. Yeah. This guy is just, what he does and the ideas he comes up with is stunning, So, the movie starts off, with two soldiers. I won't go too much spoilers. Two soldiers just sitting in a field. One's asleep, one's lying against a tree. They're given an order to go and meet the captain, played by Colin Firth, and that's when the movie starts. And literally from when they stand, the camera slowly pans behind them and follows them into the Colin Firth, or into the bunker, the first bunker. They're walking through the trenches and they're talking and they go in. And this is where the first video game kind of connection came for me. It's like you're given your mission and then you're kind of given, pick your weapons, pick your thing, pick your grenades, because he literally says to them, right, they have to go, sorry, no, I'm going too far ahead. They have to go to stop an attack. There's going to be a massive attack on the front line. All the soldiers are going to go over the front line to go across no man's land to, obviously, against the Germans. Now, unbeknownst to the guys doing this is that there's a trap being set by the Germans. The Germans have pulled all their other soldiers off the other lines onto that main line, So there's actually more soldiers there, and it's going to be like a massacre by the English soldiers that are going to run towards them. You know, like they'll just be shredded. So one of the soldiers' brother is actually one of the soldiers that's going to be going over the top, as they say. So he's really invested. Get there as fast as you can. So they're given their orders to get the message to stop the attack. And the last thing he says to them, have you got enough grenades? Have you got your weapons? Have you got bayonetas? And I just thought, wow, this already feels like, you know, you're setting up your loadout before you go out into your mission. So I thought that was quite an interesting... That's the impression I got from it when I watched it. Now, from there then, the camera never leaves the two soldiers later on. It's all filmed as one shot, so it's like one long timeline as well.
Yeah.
But from what I've read, they did it in 5 to 6 minutes intervals, and they stitched together, or 5-minute shots, and they stitched together. You don't really see it in the movie. There's 1 or 2 parts you see a small bit of editing. Alright, it does take you out of it, but it's very, very small. You kind of have to look. I've seen this movie now twice, 3 times, I think. It takes you out of it. But it's good. So it basically just follows them through the trenches, and then the first sequence is they're going over the top to go through the first no man's land, where they were told that there's no soldiers on the other side, and the camera just constantly follows them. Like, you know, I'm trying not to say too much because there's a lot of spoilers in this. So we'll say you have action sequences for 10 to 15 minutes of intense moments. And then you get like a cutscene, we'll call it, where they meet other soldiers, and those other soldiers then would be just sitting down having cups of coffee, or they'd be, you know, just kind of doing in between moments. But there's more storytelling in those brief moments. You find what the grittiness of that time was, how though they're young boys and how they interacted and how they felt like, and it's like a loading screen. You got that couple of minutes of more storytelling, moving the story forward, and then you go straight into another action sequence, and the action sequences are just mind blowing, and it just builds and builds and builds to the final few minutes. And there's a sequence in it. It's very strange. You could pull a lot of the sequences out from games you've played. There's a sequence where it's in darkness, and they're in a village, we'll call it, or a town, and it's completely decimated from bombing, and it's nighttime, and there's all these flares going up, and the soldiers trying to get through it, and the tension there from though that 10-15 minutes is, and it's something you wouldn't get from even the best horror movies. It's fantastic. And then they have a 2 or 3 minute moment in that where they slow everything down. The camera stops and he meets somebody, and again it tells another story in that 3 minutes that show the other side of the war that's happening, and you're kind of going, wow, this was happening while all these other battles are going on around them, you know. So it for me, it's one of the best war movies I've seen. Compared to Dunkirk or something like that, it's way better than that, and that was a good movie. The characters are fantastic in it, you know. It's not a perfect movie, because I mean some of the stuff that goes wrong for those soldiers is just Murphy's Law. It's just they're the 2 unluckiest soldiers I've ever seen, because between planes and
Yeah.
But again, it's just for me, it's a must watch on the big screen. The camera never leaves. I can't say too much. The soldiers, it stays on at least one of them the whole time. There's sequences where they're running through, we'll say, this huge courtyard, and the camera won't follow them exactly. It'll swing maybe 200, 300 meters across the yard, always staying on them, and they're running while being chased.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that image.
Yeah, and then it swings back in again as one of the soldiers trips, but you never ever feel like, how will I say it? There's one sequence where you're trapped in under some rubble, And because the camera stays with the two soldiers all the time, you actually feel like you're the third soldier, I found. So that when you're trapped there with them, the camera is just on their faces, and it's like you're looking at two soldiers, two friends alongside you, and you're there with them in that cramped space, at that moment. You know, it really becomes a third person, the camera. It's very well done. It's a very interesting idea. So it's very realistic. There are some moments in it that are quite hard to watch in some of the no man's scenes where they'd fall into a trench and he'd put his hand through a dead body or something. You know, it's not for the faint-hearted again, but definitely a must watch. I highly recommend it. So yeah, and then finally is that for any Mindhunter fans out there, unfortunately they're not doing a third season, which is a shame really on Netflix. And the Obi-Wan Kenobi series has been shut down for scripts to be rewritten, but I don't think we might ever see that show again. To be honest with you, I heard Ewan McGregor may have left it as well already, so we'll see. So that's it.
Unless they make it into a movie,
I think maybe that might be a better idea. The movie side. So that's everything I've watched and seen. I've seen more, but that's the ones I found the most interesting. Any questions or?
No, a couple of things. Well, worth keeping out for. Netflix end of the month we got Adam Sandler's Uncut Gems, which I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah,
I think they got it in the States a bit earlier than us. And have you seen the trailer for Colour Out of Space?
No.
Okay,
No.
It's a hi-fi sorrow movie, and it's based on one of H.P. Lovecraft's short stories.
Okay.
Werewolf and Nicolas Cage is in it.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay,
No,
definitely
No,
not interested in that
don't
one. Then.
dispute him. Don't dispute that man. But because it's H.P. Lovecraft, and I love it.
The only thing that he could play is a tree because of his wooden acting.
But it's for me. I love H.P. Lovecraft for Reanimator and all that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's a 2-hour horror movie. The sci-fi twist as well. But yeah. So do we want to have a quick? Because it's getting on. Do we want to have a quick chat about Picard and our thoughts?
Yeah.
So what's the consensus on how this panned out? Was it what you expected to see? Was it better than you expected it to be? Or were you disappointed?
Better. But I was going in from a negative point of view.
I didn't know that.
I'd seen a few things that were sort of like really kind of like calling it out, saying it wasn't going to be very good. And I have to admit, it's just so nice to see Patrick Stewart reprising his role.
Doesn't he?
I think you're very hesitant when you see the start of this. But then again, I'd worked out that this was a dream sequence. And it was more likely to be he's having a dream and, from what was happening in it. And I will say that I forgot, but I did double check and I did watch a bit of Star Trek Nemesis this morning. And at the very beginning, you hear Bing Crosby with his song.
Yeah, it's,
And that's the one that Data sings at their funeral. At the wedding as well. Yeah,
Blue Skies. Blue Skies, and it's also the one that Data also sings at the end of Nemesis, and it's the one at Troy Riker's wedding.
It's the beginning.
So all three. It's in all three parts. So, but 2 parts in Nemesis and 1 part in Picard.
And also, just the very idea of the start of it is that we've come across Picard having dreams before, and shock sort of the way it started out. You know, he doesn't want to leave. He regrets probably leaving Starfleet more than anything, but he left for his own reasons, not for what Starfleet stood for. I should imagine at the end of it, all of it. But
yeah, I think it was more Data that we got to see the dreams of rather than Picard.
And I don't think we see much more than Brent in the dream sequences. I don't think that's as much as we're probably going to see. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't think we're going to see much more of Data. I think that Data will be, if anything, played by someone else because Data's body was destroyed in B4 is in bits.
Yeah.
But the one thing that everybody is not talking about when you look at some of the discussions is Data had 2 brothers.
Lore.
Because there was also Lore. Yeah. And, well, all I can say is wait for tomorrow when we do the spoiler cast, which is going to, like, we're really going nerdy on it. So if you don't like Star Trek, don't listen to it. It's a special on Star Trek.
I think it started slow, and by the end of the first episode, you're very much intrigued and on board with it more.
Yeah. And also, like, when I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago, the short that came out, the recent Star Trek short, is actually the attack on Mars. That's right, yeah. And that story's told, and there's a bit more information in that as well, which I thought was quite good, and what happened there. So, that was a good tie into it as well, I think.
You'll have to fill us in on that one then, Alan, because
unfortunately, I don't know why Prime can't give us those. It's a bit annoying, to be honest. It's the same way that America gets treated slightly different from us. Yeah. In the same way, I was just about to order a bottle of Picard Chateau red wine, and it doesn't ship to the UK. It's only internal orders within the United States. So I fancied a bottle of that, or two. One to put away and one to crack open. But but really, honestly, it was a slight breath of fresh air, and it was just nice to see him back where he belongs. Yeah, but I think we shouldn't give our hopes up too much with how this is going to pan out, because he's not going to have the Enterprise. He's not going to have a lot of the characters with him from the original show. They won't be there at all. All bar one character. And I know we've seen bits where he has conversations with number one, Deanna Troi, but that is just
that's only a couple of minutes, I think.
I love the fact that the dog was named number one. Yeah.
I think all these are just going to be cameos, really.
Yeah.
So don't expect much more than that.
Yeah. Well, I think the character plays Will Riker. He directed 1 or 2 episodes as well, I think. So William Frakes. I think he's directed one. I'm not sure. Definitely one another. Jonathan Frakes. Yeah.
Jonathan Frakes, not William Frakes. Yeah.
But I don't think I think it's nice that they are spinning off a whole new kind of crew, and see where that goes. I think it'll be interesting to see what.
Because I think obviously because Picard's getting old now, and he can't even run up the stairs. Bless him.
No, they used a stunt. I was laughing. They used a stunt double for that. Yeah. That was.
But we will see a few seasons out of these. It won't be a long running show, I don't think.
I think there'll definitely a season.
But the thing is,
season 2's definite. But I don't think I'm comparing it to probably the other Star Trek show we got on Netflix,
Discovery. Yeah,
which might it depends.
I think next season will be the last one, Discovery. I don't know why. I think it's just hanging on. I think next season will be the last one of that.
I mean, Patrick Stewart was he's 79.
And that's my thoughts on it. Because of that, I think we won't. We will see it. We know we've got a second season coming, maybe even a third. Maybe, I don't know, but I'd love to see a proper show that we got. Like we did with Next Gen and Voyager, something like that. That's constantly churning out from Paramount, constantly. But who knows?
But it was a good start, I think.
Has
potential. Nice surprise, we'll say. Yeah, because when I watched it, I was kind of curious to see. I wonder what they'll do, and then I said, "Wow, I can't wait for next week." So that's always a good sign. And I'm glad it's weekly. It gives you a chance to break down what you saw and all the Easter eggs and all the kind of the deep cuts and stuff like that.
Catch it a couple of times at least, And I mean, I've got it on my phone to watch again. Still, I've downloaded it, so I'll be able to just catch a little bit here and there, just look at it and just ponder on it. Really.
And how many episodes? I wonder. I actually never looked at how many episodes.
Does it?
Yeah, I was wondering. Is it?
Well, it's normally about 12 nowadays. Isn't it on?
I hope it is. That seems like a lot, though, for.
But interesting that the way it ended at the very last sequence and how that finished.
Yes.
Very not confusing, but intriguing. I must admit.
No, a good start. Let's hope. Fingers crossed that Kansas.
Well, there's definitely 8. There's definitely 8 because I've just looked up Bryony, who plays Daj, and she's in up to episode 1.8.
I think it'll be 8 episodes, so I think Patrick Stewart, that's quite a lot for his age to be doing more than that. So I think they might do a shorter season to suit him. Because he's the main character, he's on screen probably 90% of the time, you know.
Yeah.
Okie doke, shall we move to listeners' questions? Okay, right, we've got a few questions. We'll start with Mark as normal. He has a couple. The first question is, how much attention do you give to free offerings on games with Gold or PS Plus or even Twitch each month? Are you free-to-play weekends very effective at selling games? Thoughts?
Always download them, or at least add them to my account. But in terms of the free-to-play weekends, don't bother taking them up, because half of the time, by the time you finish downloading it, it'll be time to stop.
Before
you can actually get.
Yeah. But I mean,
So
with the games, I think you try to maybe at least click on them. Some of them you might not fancy at the time, but maybe you regret that later in life.
Yeah.
Which is why I always download it, because you never know how things might pan out. So it's always best to add it to your account, because if you never use it, you never use it. And if you do use it, you've got it there.
Yeah.
Very true.
For me, no, I a lot more attention the last maybe 6 or 7 months with the free to download games and the PS Plus games and Gold and stuff. As I tend to, if I see a game that's on sale or it's inside one of the stores or something, I tend to go, well, that's going to appear soon and I'm paying the subscription, so I don't mind waiting that extra bit to see what comes out. I actually look forward sometimes every month to see what's going to be available free, especially the Epic Store. I quite looking and seeing what they're going to give you. So yeah, I suppose it's kind of, for me, it's more of an impact over the last couple of months than it was, I suppose. And I don't do the free to play.
And you don't get the Twitch games,
Twitch
do
in
you,
Ireland it's see, Amazon Prime and all that kind of stuff. It's not. You don't get much. If you get Amazon Prime here and you go in to look at a TV show or a movie, sometimes it says not available. So it's just not. It's like you can't get BBC over here. You can't get BBC Play or ITV Play, all that kind of stuff. You just, we're like the distant cousin you don't want us to call.
Weird.
Okay, Alan, do you want to do the second one?
The second one then is from Mark again. It's do gamers expect too much from games regardless of price?
Always, I think.
I think so too. I think
we're a weird species for that.
I'm going to say something controversial. No, I don't, because at the cost of games these days, when you play, if you're buying a game straight out of the bat for £50 or even, up to like the £100, which some of the games have with the season passes, I think to be given a game that is half built and requires several months worth of updates in order to get it into a playable state is just not on.
Yeah, but going back to you then, Hayden, I know your love for achievements. Does the price of a game affect, or do you look at achievement? Like, is it an easy 1,000? Is it a difficult 1,000 to achieve points? Does the price of the game then affect you purchasing it?
More the price of the game affects me purchasing it than anything else. What I tend to do is I tend to look at games of either, like indie games that have just come in, or games that have been reduced in price, by probably 50% at least, before I consider them, and that includes a lot of the indie games as well, because there's no point in paying out all of that extra money. Games are expensive. If when I look, you might spend 20 quid on buying a mediocre, half price, normal game, to buying maybe 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 indie games, of which there might be 1 or 2 that are good in there and any other ones aren't so good. So, and it depends upon what they're offering and stuff like that, but also the price is a big one because you can't keep shelling out 50 quid here, 50 quid there. I was wanting to buy, the new Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and I thought,
no, it's held its price faster than most
now.
games, Call of Duties, yeah.
And it's still,
it's
still
price.
50 quid, but Call of Duty World War II is
that's
£10 now.
€5 or €6 here. I was actually thinking about picking it up after watching 1917. So
yeah. So what about you guys?
For me, price of games, like as you know, I have 2 daughters going to college this year, so it's really. I really have to, like I said to the previous question, I think that's why the free games or the Game Pass games, the PS Plus games are more for me. Yeah, there's a couple of games this year that are day one purchases. I've put deposits down them, but yeah, price of games do affect lately how I buy them, So
I think without realising it, we are going more digital these days.
Yeah.
I know I don't with movies, but with games, I think we do.
Well, thinking about the digital, you've got the ones like Humble Bundle as well, where now it's Humble Choice, so you get 8 out of 9 or something games for $20 a month, unless you're already subscribed to Humble Bundle, in which case you keep on that sort of price plan. But this month I've paused my subscription for the simple reason that the main games that I had, I already had that were in this week's one, because I went out and I bought, granted it was on CD keys and it was nowhere near the actual asking price, the Shadows of Mordor, the latest one. I'd already had that, and I had it on 2 systems, so I thought, one of which was PC, so I thought there's no point in getting it again, so I might as well pause it. Especially after I looked at all of the other indie games that were in there, there was nothing that really excited me in it, as much. The main one was the main one, as it were. I think there was another one of those theme hospital ones, which I was sort of like slightly intrigued by, but I thought I don't really want to get that collection. Hopefully next month it'll be something that I don't have. So, I think buying games, certainly on PC, in that kind of way now, that has completely revolutionised the way that my PC gaming is.
Okay. Hayden?
Okay. So Jason Tune asks, favourite crisps, snacks or sweets, and if you could bring back anything that's been discounted, what would you bring back? He misses savoury snaps.
Discontinued. I never had them. I think that's an English thing, is it?
Don't know.
Must be. I don't remember them.
But
Walkers, evidently.
Regarding discontinued sweets, that's now a thing of the past, really.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because you can get everything Lidl's and Aldi's now. They have all those retro sections.
If you go onto Amazon.co.uk and you can buy packs of sweets from like the 60s or 70s, for example.
Yeah.
So you've got like the cola cubes, blackjacks of the time, wine gums, fudge bars, all those sort of sweets you have kids. They are readily available. They knock off your teeth, maybe, but
yeah. Well, what about favourite crisps?
Anything spicy?
I quite like the pickled onion Monster Munches. They're lovely. I like them. They're kind of hard to find over here these days, but they're nice. Like,
really, there's a Walker's. I think it's Walker's. There's a crinkle cut crisps you can get, which are hot chili wings or something like that.
Oh, never had them. No.
Really nice. So they've got a nice tang to them, and actually, I do like Doritos, especially the chili ones.
Yeah, I quite like the Doritos cheesy ones. I like the what are the ones in the tubes?
Yes, those
Pringles.
Those ones, Pringles.
Barbecue.
Yeah, I like the barbecue,
the barbecue
ones
nice.
of those, and tomato sauce flavoured crisps.
Very
as well.
sweet, actually.
I don't think we have. I've never seen them over here.
No,
Would you remember we've had quite a few little
little
special edition ones? There was hedgehog flavour crisps at one point. Do you remember those?
I was just thinking it was hedgehog flavour as well. Yeah, how the
What
hell would
does
you
it
know
taste
that?
like?
Hedgehog.
Hedgehog.
Right, prickly? Is it like...
Do you remember
I don't know. I never fancied him, to be quite honest.
The skips we used to get, and they were like the sort of like prawn cocktail flavour. You know.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well is things like chocolate bars, ones that have gone have come back, like Curly Whirlies, they disappeared and are back. Whispers, they did. The one thing that I want in terms of stuff that has been discontinued, it's not so much discontinued, but I want them to make the chocolate bars the same size as they used to be 20 years ago. Because... Yeah, because you look what is now, like, because Twix are one of my favourites. You look at the Twix extras, that's the size of what a Twix was 20 years ago, just about. So maybe a little bit longer. But nowadays, the Twix bars, they're probably about 25-30% smaller than they used to be.
Chocolates are, it's called Let's Rip Off Britain.
Yeah.
What about tins of Quality Street? Do you remember those massive tins you used to get
at Christmas?
Yeah, it was like a bloody swimming pool of chocolate.
More wrapper than chocolate.
And nowadays, more rare than chocolate.
And I mean the penny sweets as a kid, like flying saucers and stuff like that, and they're all still available to get hold of now. It's. And I just saw a post, I don't know, it was from Mars, saying they're going to bring back Opal Fruits as a special edition.
I didn't know they were going to do that.
I didn't even know
they had, because they changed the name as well, didn't
Starburst, was it?
Yes.
They're
now going to going back to rebranding them as Opal Fruits, which is what they were for the 70s for us.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's old boys. Yeah.
I must admit, I never understood why they renamed Marathon Snickers.
No, it's an odd one, isn't it?
Because I always thought you put on your Snickers to go and do a marathon.
I don't even like marathons.
I'm going to shake my head at this one. Shall we move on?
I don't like.
I don't like marathons either. As in to eat them.
Anyway,
you run ultra marathons. I couldn't even eat one.
Come on, look, house in order. Anyway, so Paul Wilson says, "Dilemma time. The end is nigh. The world is at the end, and a few days' time. Forget friends, family, and loved ones. From your pile of shame, pick one game that you had not completed. Which game would you play until the end? And one movie that you would never watched but keep on meaning to view."
That's tough. I probably Metal Gear Solid 5, maybe, because I've started it, I've never finished it, and I quite like the.
You do know that you probably want to enjoy your last few
No,
days.
but I enjoyed all the other Metal Gears. I really like, and I hopefully eventually will play Death Stranding. But I just think I'd like to finish it because I love Peace Walker, and it's very similar to that.
No, I preferred the first two games, to be honest. They're my favourites.
Yeah, so did I.
So, one game. I don't know, really. Because obviously it's not like you're on a desert island this time. You've only got a few days left before the world is at an end.
Yeah.
I could probably find something else you could do, but so I'd say let me dig out Spider-Man. I need to finish that.
I started playing that again the other day. I'd forgotten how good it was. Yeah, I got the platinum on it, but I'd never done the DLC.
There's about 3 parts to the DLC now, isn't there?
Yeah. But they're supposed to be only okay. I'm close to the platinum, but I never. I just didn't go back till I finished it, and that was it.
So
it's that grind doing all of the little.
So what about a movie that you've never watched that's in your list to watch?
I don't know, because I kind of watch everything really that I want to watch. So I don't know. That's a tough one. No, I'm blanking. I kind of watch everything really that I want to watch. You? Any movies you'd watch that you'd put off?
I'd probably actually rewatch something that I enjoy.
Oh, I'd rewatch loads, yeah.
I think if I've got a favourite movie I'd love to rewatch. If it's coming to the end, I think I'd rather go and watch a movie that I love and hold dearly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see it for that last time.
I suppose put on something nice, something cheery. I don't know.
Are we giving up on that one?
Or you can watch Armageddon or Deep. One of those big, like, 12, what's it? Oh, one of those big apocalyptic movies.
Oh, Jaws or something?
Yeah.
I know what I'd do. I would do Skyrim as the game, because I've never completed that. And then I would watch a Steve Carell movie, Desperately Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. I went to see it at Liverpool, and I'm not kidding you, it's the first time I've ever been into a cinema where it was filled with single people. There was like 40 people in the cinema, and every one of them was sat on their own. It was weird. It was very, very weird.
Yeah, it was
good
a good movie,
though. I enjoyed it. It was a happy, depressing end.
Okay, who's doing the last question?
I'll do that. Lead Darcy. It's a zombie apocalypse, and you can choose 3 video game characters as your companions. Who do you choose? I think the three boys from Gears. Dom. They'd help you out in the apocalypse.
What, Dom and all of that?
Or maybe even some of the main characters from The Walking Dead. They seem to do quite well in the zombie apocalypse.
That was what I was thinking.
Yeah, the main character of the first one. Yeah, he'd be alright. I wouldn't want the girl, what's her name, Clementine, because everybody else dies and she lives.
You don't want to be that red shirt person, do you?
No.
No, you don't. No.
I suppose Lara Croft would be a good one.
Yeah. How about the team that were? What was that other game? Zombie game, where they were. Oh, what it is now off the top of my head. One where you play. You can bring in four of you, to play the same game, sort of multiplayer like.
State of Decay.
Oh,
Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. Left 4 Dead. No, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Be interesting.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want Sonic the Hedgehog, would you?
No. No. I'd go for Jill Valentine.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Maybe Link from Zelda. He seems to do okay.
Or how about Claire Redfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have her. I'd have her, Lara Croft, and Claire Redfield and Jill Valentine in my collection. That'd be my 3.
I will totally agree. I know. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go with you on that one.
Yeah, sorted.
Oh.
So I can have a little fantasy party. Are we done then?
Are we? Because I want to go and get something to eat.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All done.
Hayden?
So just need to do the contacts. So I'm HRJ UK on just about everything. So PSN, Xbox Live, and Steam, etc. But on Epic, Pop Culture Gamers. So that's my details.
Twitter @Steve07. That is the same for the Xbox, and also my YouTube channel for movie soundtracks. And the PSN is the real Steve007. Alan?
On Twitter, I'm Head Chef Alan. Xbox and PSN, I'm Chef Alan. And email is thegingergamer@yahoo.com.
Excellent. So,
I'll just do the other What's Your ones as well. So don't forget, we've got Twitter, Pop Culture Gamer, our Facebook group, email, podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk, websites, popculturegamers.podbean.com, and we also have a Patreon, and we now have 2 Patreons.
Anyway, so how are we going to do an intro? I've been thinking about this. So, I think a good introduction and not an outro would be like Blue Peter.
What would that be?
But you all say hello together, don't you, sort of thing. But outro is a bit difficult.
Well, what about like Rainbow, where you're going to go goodbye?
What's not the Waltons?
No,
night, John.
that's good night, John Boy.
Anyway, for now, it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from me.
And it's a slan from me.
Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. See you again.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.